Being a Raider, you're going to always be hated.
Players have nicknames right out of Folsom. Snake and the Mad Bomber. Dr. Death, the Molester, and Assassin, the Mad Stork, Big Ben, and Ghost.
As soon as I got here, they let me know about all the old Raiders. It was just pretty much beat into me.
Since 1960, they've moved around like a bail jumper chased by a bounty hunter, battling opponents in the courts and on the field. There were 3 Super Bowl wins in an 8-year span, but then a commitment to excellence dissolved into a morass of mediocrity with no playoff appearances since 1993.
Well, the last 8 years have been difficult simply because we've been a very inconsistent football team.
This season, the magic has returned. Now there are no snakes or mad storks, but a business-like group with 6 straight wins.
It'd be hard to ever compare this team to some of those old Raider teams.
We're trying to create our own identity, our own personality.
Some of the old Raider DNA remains. They're fighting their hometown in court. Their coach is a throwback in choir boys clothing. And their animus with the Denver Broncos is still intense.
This is a personal challenge for me because since I've been here, we've not been able to beat Denver. And for us to move forward as a football team, we've got to beat the Denver Broncos. This is going to be a great test for us tonight.
Tonight, the Raiders try to prove they're all the way back. And the Broncos try to keep their division title hopes alive when Oakland comes into Denver on ABC's Monday Night Football.
Are you ready for some football? Hear the flash of thunder and a lightning strike. The storm in the field, sparks will fly tonight. We're charged and ready. The crowd goes berserk. It's a wake-up call. Time to go to work. You better get ready. It's going to get rough. Because Monday Night Football is powerful stuff. Come on and hit it. Come on and get ready. Are you ready for some football? A Monday night party? Yes, sir. The countdown to the kickoff has officially started. There's no neutral corner in this heavyweight fight. All my rowdy friends are here for Monday night.
It is clear and cold in the Rockies Mile High Stadium, as usual, sold out, as the Denver Broncos come out onto the field. The renewal of a great rivalry, the Raiders and the Broncos. I'm Al Michaels. Welcome to Denver. This is year 31 for Monday Night Football, and I have to tell you, some of the most memorable games in the history of this package have been played here. This will be the final Monday night game at Mile High Stadium because next season the Broncos move into their brand new digs across the parking lot. And what a perfect way to end it as Oakland and Denver meet for the 11th time on a Monday night. Oakland comes in with the league's best record, 8-1. That won a loss to Denver on September 17th when the Broncos won it 33-24. And the Broncos come in with a mark of 5-4 with a season-saving win last week against the Jets. Oakland and Denver on Monday night. It doesn't get much better.
FedEx presents the air attack and ground attack numbers for tonight's matchup between the Broncos and the Raiders.
Denver Broncos are a 3-point favorite. So the Raiders are underdogs. What do they have to do to win?
I think 3 factors for the Raiders tonight to win: depth, turnovers, and how they handle Mile High Stadium. Sebastian Janikowski will not kick tonight. Tyrone Wheatley will not run tonight. So a trio of running backs will take over for Wheatley and a pair of kickers for Janikowski. Now, turnovers, the Raiders have been great this year, the fewest number of turnovers in the league. But in their loss to the Raiders earlier this year, they turned the ball over, rather to the Broncos, they turned it over 4 times, something they've done way too many times in this series. Now, this is the toughest venue in the NFL to play, Mile High Stadium. It's going to get cold as the night goes on. The Raiders have got to protect the ball if they got any chance of winning this game.
Raider coach who's done such a magnificent job, John Gruden, is the youngest coach in the league. Melissa Stark, tell us more about John.
Well, he's been the youngest head coach in the NFL for 3 years now, ever since he took over the Raiders at the age of 34. He's also one of the most animated. Just watch him on the sidelines tonight. Some of his teammates have nicknamed him Jumper Cables because he fires them up so much. They also say you can't help but play your heart out for him. Well, the Raiders may be 8-1 under Gruden, but since he's been there, he has yet to beat the Broncos. Al, he calls it unfinished business. He's trying to end the Broncos' hold tonight.
Well, Melissa, one way they'll have to do their business tonight is in temperatures that right now are 20 degrees. Eric Dickerson, what's it like to play when it's 20?
Well, Alan, it's very cold right now. The weather could be a big factor in this football game. For football players, the most important thing is the field condition. And this field is in very good shape. The field has been covered up for the last 2 weeks. I don't think you'll see the players lose their footing at all. But if this was AstroTurf, this would be more like concrete. Now, I talked to some of the players, and they told me, Eric, I'm very glad we're playing on grass tonight.
Dennis Miller, welcome to the Mile High City. What do you think?
Well, you know, Al, the Raiders like to think of themselves as the team of the decades, but they really had a Rosemary Woods-like disconnect during the 90s when they went 82-78, a scant 4 games over 500 for a 10-year period. Simply put, the Raiders played like they were wearing the patch on the good eye, and a lot of those whoopings were laid on them by the Denver Broncos. Mike Shanahan 10-1 against the Raiders since he left the conclave. Shanny beats on Al Davis like Buddy Rich on a snare drum when he knew Gene Krupa was standing in the back of the room. And unless Gruden and his boys get off the schneid tonight against the Broncos, they might have to change that team motto to just spin, baby. It's cold, Albino. Hold me?
If I do, it's an automatic first down. It's Monday night in Denver, and the Raiders come into town with John Gruden, Rich Gannon, and company against the Denver Broncos. Terrell Davis healthy again. Oakland and Denver from Mile High. Here, he's won 2 Super Bowls. His team to kick off, that's his Jason Elam. To put it in the air, David Dunn and Calvin Branch back to receive. Line drive kick, David Dunn fields at the 5. And a good opening run back for the Raiders as Dunn takes it up to the 36, and we'll meet the Oakland backs and receivers.
Rich Gannon, quarterback, University of Delaware.
Napoleon Kaufman, running back, University of Washington.
John Ritchie, fullback, Stanford.
Tim Brown, wide receiver, Notre Dame.
James Jett, wide receiver, West Virginia.
Ricky Dudley, tight end, the Ohio State University.
Raiders coming off a 49-point game against Kansas City last week. They defeated the Chiefs, their other arch rival, twice this year.
Starting right about where they usually start out, 34.5 yards.
And this is Tim Brown on an end around, picking up 3 up to the 38-yard line. Here is the interior line for Oakland.
Barry Sims, left tackle, University of Utah.
Lincoln Kennedy, offensive tackle, University of Washington.
Steve Wisniewski, offensive guard, Penn State University.
Mo Collins, right guard, University of Florida.
Barrett Robbins, center, TCU.
Robbins having a very good year. In fact, John Gruden telling us last night he should be considered for the Pro Bowl. They line up Ricky Dudley in the backfield alongside Jordan. And Gannon to throw on second down and throws it behind Brown. Brown was free at the 50. He throws it behind him. Let's meet the Bronco line and linebackers.
Tanuvasa, defensive end, University of Hawaii.
Keith Trail, defensive tackle, Central Oklahoma.
Kavika Pittman, defensive end, McNeese State University.
Trevor Price, defensive tackle, Clemson.
John Mobley, outside linebacker, Kutztown University.
Bill Romanowski, I'm an outside linebacker. I went to Boston College.
Al Wilson, linebacker, Tennessee.
Third down at the 37-yard line. Third down and 7. With Gannon under pressure, flag is thrown, no play. A whistle before the snap. Larry Nemmers is the referee. First flag of the night.
Prior to the snap, false start offense, number 65. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Barry Sims. Let's meet the Denver secondary now.
Ray Crockett, the cornerback, Baylor University.
Terrell Buckley, defensive back, Florida State.
Billy Jenkins, strong safety, Howard University.
Eric Brown, free safety, Mississippi State.
After the 5-yard penalty.
T-Buck having a great year so far. He's got 5 scepters.
And we have Buckley mic'd up for the hand on third down and 13. Gannon chased and then throws, and it is picked off at the 39-yard line. Ray Crockett. Gannon almost looked as if he was attempting to throw it away, and the next thing you know, here comes Crockett for the interception.
A terrible start for the Raiders coming out. Gruden said that we could not turn the ball over. What do they do on the first series? They're offsides, bringing up a 3rd and long. Romanowski gets the pressure on Gannon. That maybe caused that ball to not get thrown out of bounds. And Crockett's there for the interception. 3 interceptions now by the Broncos off of Rich Gannon in a game and just 1 series.
Like the Bronco fans weren't into the game enough last Monday night game ever in Mile High. Now they're really into it.
From the 39-yard line, Greasy on a tight roll hits the wide-open tight end, Dave Carswell, inside the 20, out of bounds at the 16-yard line, and Rod Smith threw the key block on that play.
Boy, did he ever. He just laid out Charles Woodson. Great play fake by Greasy. This is one of his strengths. Along with Peyton Manning, the 2 of them are the best in the NFL with the play-action pass. Greasy on the roll, got the ball to his big tight end, Carswell, just in time. You see the fake to Davis. And then watch this block on the outside. Ooh, right there as Smith lays out Woodson.
A lot of the boys are talking at each other already.
From the 16, here is Terrell Davis, who got back into the groove last week with 115 yards against the New York Jets.
You know, more importantly than the 115 yards, Al, they had to love seeing him carry 33 times. Worrying about the injuries he's had, he showed a lot of durability last week.
Well, Davis, as you know, had reconstructive knee surgery last season. Then he did not play in 5 of their first 8 games. He carried the ball only 24 times prior to last week.
Mike Anderson did a nice job for him while he was away.
2nd and 11 from the 17-yard line. Greasy, good protection, throws, and it's low, intended for Terrell Davis. Davis over the middle. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
Let's go back and take a look at this great first play for the Broncos. Look at the fake. It just takes the Raiders out of it. Greasy heads up to get the ball to Carswell. Now watch this block by Rod Smith on Charles Woodson. Upshaw down the field to push Carswell out of bounds. A great start for the Broncos. Get the turnover, then the first play inside the red zone.
Rod Smith's having an incredible year. Great block there. We'll tell you about his receiving in a little bit here.
3rd and 11 with an empty backfield and 5 receivers in this set. Raiders show blitz. Greasy protected well underneath to the 7-yard line. He hits Byron Chamberlain, and Chamberlain fighting for a first down, and we'll see where they mark the forward progress.
Well, Carswell and Chamberlain, the amalgamation of the 2, showing us something akin to Shannon Sharpe here in the first series.
Yeah, it looked like Carswell had the first down with the catch. And then as he was struggling for extra yards, he may have given it back up. Be close enough to bring out a measurement from our amp cam. Greasy with a lot of time to throw. Directing traffic. He's got his big tight end there. Byron Chamberlain. Good to have him back in the lineup for the Broncos. He's been hurt. Working between the linebackers in that zone of the Raiders.
It's close, and it's not enough.
Wow.
Larry Nemmers is saying not enough. Shanahan indicates that he's going to go for it.
Broncos have been having real good success on 4th down situations, 5 out of 10. And now they've got their home run hitter back in the lineup, Terrell Davis. Why not go for it?
Looked like they were short by a scant 388 votes there, Albino.
They're recounting. But they'll proceed. It's the 5 o'clock deadline. Clock is wound. 4th down, and you might say a singular inch. McCaffrey is the man in motion. They give it to Davis. He has it. To the 5-yard line. Howard Griffith, as he does so often, the fullback leading the way.
Davis looks like he's running downhill on those.
He just has such a great relationship with his fullback. 29 is Griffith. Watch him lead. Right side of the screen. He takes out the strong safety there, Marquez Pope. And you notice at the end of this run, Terrell Davis lowers his head. He knows he just needs a couple of inches to get that first down.
1st and goal from the 5. Denver trying to capitalize on the Raider turnover. Here is Davis. Touchdown, Denver.
Wow. I wish I knew the nomenclature of play definition. I don't. Dano, explain that to me. It looked beautiful. I don't know exactly what they did, though.
What they did is they brought the flanker, Rod Smith, in motion, faked the reverse, that took away the force by the Raiders there. They were unsure of whether it was going to be a reverse or a hand to Davis. Beautiful play call by Gary Kubiak and Mike Shanahan.
Jason Elam for the point after, and that is good. And so for the 5th time in 10 games this season, on an opening drive, the Broncos score a touchdown off the Ray Crockett interception, 7-0.
What are you doing? It's a perfectly good Budweiser.
Yeah, what do you think this stuff is for? What the heck is wrong with you?
Kicker.
Hey, how's it going? See the game?
Only 10 times in this their 10th game, but 5 of those turnovers against Denver. 4 in Oakland, 1 tonight, 7-0 Broncos. Elam's second kickoff of the night, taken at the 8-yard line by David Dunn. He's done a nice job running back kicks. Flag comes in as Dunn brings it back to the 25-yard line, and Oakland figures to be pushed back even farther, and they will be.
Not only has he done a nice job returning kicks out, Gruden told us he's in on a lot of tackles, said he's the centerpiece of their special teams this year so far.
One of those guys who has bounced around but has found a home.
During the return, holding, number 50, 10-yard penalty, first down, Oakland.
Eric Barton. Back we go to Davis's touchdown run.
And the key here is right here. Watch Rod Smith come on the reverse here, and watch how it affects the force at the point of attack here. Look how they're standing up. Davis walks into the end zone. Well-designed play and perfect execution. Tom Nalen doesn't even have anybody to block.
And Shanahan has turned play calling over to Kubiak this year, right, Dano?
Yeah, Dennis, and it's working very well.
Gary Kubiak, longtime backup quarterback, now the offensive coordinator. And this is Napoleon Kaufman. Well, this is a scenario we've seen a lot before. Not only has Shanahan had the Raiders number 6 straight, 10 of 11, but the Broncos very often get off to early leads against the Raiders, forcing Oakland to play catch-up. And there it is, as you can see, in their last 6 games, in every instance, Denver has had the lead.
And now they're faced with a long field, and you don't want a long field when you're a mile high. Very hard to get all the way down the field on a long drive when you're a visiting team.
Wow, that was a Rod Serling graphic.
2nd down and 9 from the 15-yard line. Gannon sidearms it to Brown, and Brown is up to the 21. He's shy of the first by 3. Al Wilson makes the hit, 3rd down and 3.
Tim Brown just keeps rolling along. Heisman Trophy winner out of Notre Dame a long time ago. He makes a tough catch over the middle, but he still has the ability to break tackles and make the big play for the Raiders. Gannon with another ad-lib throw. Nobody throws a sidearm pass better than Rich Gannon.
Last week, Timmy Brown became only 11th man in league history to go over 16,000 total yards.
3rd down and 3 from the 21-yard line. Gannon throwing nowhere, nobody even close. Ricky Dudley was in the neighborhood, but that neighborhood was Aurora. 4th down.
Beautiful, Bino. I love that. Huh? You make me chuckle, young man. You make me chuckle.
No guffaws, though. 4th down. So the Raiders have begun with an interception and a 3-and-out. And Shane Leckler, who's done a fine job, he's a rookie from Texas A&M. He also served as their place kicker, with Janikowski unable to play last week. But this is a wobbly kick. Takes a big Raider bounce. Delta O'Neal, Denver's #1 draft choice, runs it back from the 25 to the 35. And that's where Denver will start its next drive. David Dunn made that tackle. 9:44 left in the first. 7-0 home team. Next week, we go to St. Louis. The Rams coming off that big one yesterday against the Redskins. Our information, Jeff George will start for the Redskins. Brad Johnson will not be ready. Marshall Faulk was talking yesterday as if he could possibly play on Monday night, and that would help. He is Troncanidate, the rookie, a broken wrist. They put him on IR today. He's out for the season. Washington, St. Louis, great matchup next week on Monday night.
You can't tell who's playing for St. Louis. They're all blurred anyway.
From the 36, Greasy on first down, avoids the sack, and then throws it away. So the Raiders had a chance to have Denver with a second and about 22, and Greasy's able to sling it to the sideline.
You know, in 9 games, the Raiders have only got 18 sacks. That's not like the Raiders. They're usually among the leaders in the league. This is part of the problem. This offensive line of the Broncos is awful good. They've given Greasy a lot of time, but you got to give the quarterback a lot of credit on this play. Getting away from one and then keeping his head down the field, throwing it out of bounds.
2nd and 10 from the 36. Greasy rolling, and then he's tackled out of bounds by Elijah Alexander. Let's meet the Denver backs and receivers.
Hi, I'm Brian Greasy, quarterback, University of Michigan.
Terrell Davis, running back, University of Georgia.
Howard Griffith, fullback from the University of Illinois.
Ed McCaffrey, wide receiver, Stanford.
Rod Smith, wide receiver, Missouri Southern State Lions.
Dwayne Carswell, tight end, Liberty University.
You know, Al, you were talking earlier about the Bronx coming out of the box 83-0 in the last 6 games against the Raiders. I think that's a testimony to Kubiak and Shanahan's play scripting.
Well, Mike noted as one of the coaches who does script the first 15 plays, and with a lot of success against Oakland and a few other teams. This is Smith making the catch at the 41, fighting forward, trying to pick up the first down, and is a little short. Anthony Dorsett and Greg Biekert in on the hit, and they stop him a yard shy.
I don't like the way Brian Greasy's coming off the field. He looks like he's hurt after that tackle. Check out this effort by Rod Smith. It's about 8 yards short when he makes the catch. Now watch the tackle by Biekert right there, 54. That cleaned him up. That kept him from getting the first down. But I would take a close look at Brian Greasy on the sideline after that tackle. Remember, he's got a bad shoulder.
And they are right now, clearly, as his helmet off, sitting on the bench. They're looking at him as Tom Ruin's kick bounces at the 20 and then takes a Raider bounce and is down at the 24-yard line. Another look at the hit incurred by Greasy, leading to his wobbliness coming off the field. We'll check him out when we come back. He was shaken up. He's coming off. Gus Frerotte is the backup quarterback. As Oakland to the 24-yard line. Dudley, it is smelled out perfectly by Keith Traylor. Trick play, not to Traylor though. Let's check in with Melissa.
Al, you just saw Brian Greasy leave the field. He had come over to the sidelines. The trainers were obviously very concerned all around him. He kept pointing to his right shoulder. Looked like he was in a ton of pain, and obviously we will update you as to the situation as soon as we can.
Well, Greasy had shoulder surgery in the offseason. There is the hit by Alexander as Greasy was trying to get out of bounds. That last sack was a 7-yard sack at 2nd and 17 from the 17-yard line. Gannon, a sidearm underneath toss to Randy Jordan, who turns the corner, and flags come in from everywhere as Jordan is bumped out of the 31.
Ricky Dudley just clipped Jimmy Spencer dead in the back. Illegally blocked, whatever you want to call it, but Ricky Dudley, he's got to know you can't block somebody like this.
Illegal block in the back on the offense during the run, number 83. 10-yard penalty.
Wow.
Still 2nd down.
Somebody on the sideline, one of the civilians got clocked too.
You know, so the Raiders try a couple of trick plays tonight, a couple of reverses. There's the block in the back by Dudley on Spencer. But they're just going backwards tonight. This is absolutely the worst type of start you can imagine, playing against a team you have made the same type of mistakes over and over for the last 5 years again.
Dudley just turned what would have been a 3rd down and 2 into a 2nd down and 19. possession? Yes, he did have possession. It's a fumble at the 13-yard line. George Coghill put the hit on the receiver, but Oakland recovers. Randy Jordan took a monster hit. Had possession, but Oakland retains possession.
Gannon's going to give him the ball, but what Gannon doesn't see is what's out in front of Jordan. Here's Coghill right there. Helmet perfectly hit on the ball. Jordan had no chance. Caught the ball, turned around, got drilled. The Raiders lucky to recover.
Lincoln Kennedy recovers it. The tackle.
He dropped a house on him.
3rd and 21 from the 13-yard line. And a flag before they can take the timeout.
5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
Before they could take the timeout, that's another 5, making it 3rd and 26. Well, Dan, you've been down in the closed end of Mile High Stadium very often in your career. That ain't a lot of fun.
No, it's not, and it's really not a whole lot of fun when it's 3rd and 26. You don't have plays in the playbook that are designed. You can just go back and throw the ball up and hope somebody catches it.
Call the timeout.
Well, the only thing Gannon has going for him on 3rd and 26 is this guy throws the ball to so many different receivers each week. You never know which way he's going exactly. He's hitting 7, 8, 9 different guys a game. So he does spread it around.
And the Broncos will give him a nice soft zone here. He's going to have to really squeeze it in.
3rd and 26. Gannon. And finding the open man at the 34, Andre Rison makes his first catch of the game.
They give him forward. I think he's got it.
Very close.
I tell you what, that's a great play. And that shows you the mobility of Gannon to buy the extra seconds that are necessary for Rison to get all the way down the field to pick up this first down. A little shove there on Crockett, knowing the ball is coming. He gets down before they can rip it loose. Huge play for the Raiders.
And Crockett is shaken. Crockett is hurt, so there's an injury timeout as they work on him with 5:37 left in the period. 7-0 Denver. Beauty, 8 o'clock Eastern, Florida against Florida State right here on ABC. We'll check on Crockett. Oakland picked up a first down. The ball is at the 34-yard line. Kaufman is the tailback in this set with Brown in motion. And Gannon to throw with a lot of time and finds Dudley at the 50-yard line, and he is not chased down until he reaches the 35. Run out of bounds by Kenoy Kennedy.
You know, Gannon puts it right in that zone like Joey Montana used to, where they never have to break stride, even for a millisecond.
That's a big play for Ricky Dudley after the penalty to be able to come up with this catch. It is a perfect throw, Dennis, as you said. Doesn't break stride, and that's a big stride not to break. 6'6" down the sidelines. Big play for Ricky Dudley.
30-yard gain after they converted on a 3rd and 26. Denver leading 7-0, under 5 minutes to play in the first. Gannon fires. Brown makes the catch, slips a tackle, moves forward to the 21-yard line, and that will move the chains.
Rison, Dudley, Brown. This is obviously one of Gannon's strengths. The guy really, it's a socialist team. He spreads the wealth.
And he reads defense as well. Jimmy Spencer filling in for Ray Crockett on the coverage with Tim Brown. Clear throwing lane for Gannon. Puts it right on the numbers.
Brown has now caught at least 2 passes in 118 straight games, with the equivalent of more than 7 seasons. Gannon gets the play off on 1st and 10. Flings it out to Kaufman. Good move. And Kaufman takes it to the 10-yard line for a first down. Broke out of a George Coghill tackle.
He embarrassed George Coghill with that move. But that's what Napoleon Kaufman's all about. 5'9", 185 pounds, but a whole bunch of quickness. Watch the quick feet here as he sets up Coghill. Little dip to the inside, gives him the old limp leg as our steady cam races him down the sidelines.
I think Coughlin's one of the most undervalued equities in this league. The guy's got a 4.9 career average per carry.
And he works well, especially with Wheatley, who is inactive tonight. They give the ball now to Zach Crockett. whose first carry of the game on 1st and goal is good for 6, making it 2nd down and goal from the 4-yard line.
Well, this is what the Raiders said they're going to need tonight is 3 running backs to take over for Tyrone Wheatley. Zach Crockett, who scored against the Kansas City last week. Great block by John Ritchie. He's playing a little bit dinged up too.
You know, when they have the 2 backs in there, Kaufman and Wheatley, it's like a latter-day Glenn Davis, Doc Blanchard. They really do pound inside and go fast outside.
Raiders love to run in the red zone. This time, Gannon looks to pass and then fires incomplete. Almost throwing that one away. Randy Jordan covered by Wilson. 3rd and goal is going to report on Crockett.
No, he's
Here's
in.
Melissa.
Al.
Go ahead, Melissa.
Al, he came over to the sidelines. The trainers came around. They retaped his left ankle. He tested it out. He seems to be fine and obviously is back in.
He is back in right now. Ray Crockett shaken up earlier in this series. 3rd down and goal now. Crockett, who had the interception that led to the Bronco touchdown. So the Raiders now on 3rd down and goal. From the 4. Play clock at 2. Gannon, he's going to try to run it in and can't. He's tackled at the 2-yard line by John Mobley. Had he taken off an instant earlier, I thought he had it, but he hesitated, and Mobley's able to tackle him inside the 2.
It's still his first instincts are to find a receiver, especially when they had all this time to throw. But you know what he sees when he comes out? As he sees, watch the linebackers here on the line of scrimmage, right at the goal line. He knows he can't get in. Mobley, 51, with great mobility. Now the Raiders are going to be forced to kick a field goal.
If I had one guy on that D to make a stopgap tackle right at the goal line, I'd pick John Mobley.
19-yard attempt for the just-signed Brett Conway, former Packer, former Redskin. Kicking for the regular kicker, Janikowski, who's out with the bacterial infection. So Conway, his first 3 points as a Raider, shaves the Denver lead to 4 after that long drive. Back onto the field, so we'll see if he comes in after Brett Conway kicks off. A bouncing ball fielded at the 11 by Byron Chamberlain. And Chamberlain brings it back to the 24-yard line. And let's check in with Melissa.
Brian Griese is out here throwing. As you can see, Mike Shanahan just came over to him. It looked like he asked him if he was ready to go. He gave him thumbs up. Looks like he's coming back in.
Well, not right at the moment, however, as Griese continues to warm up and Farad comes in to at least begin this series. Again, Griese was shaken up on this play when he was hit by Alexander on the sideline on Denver's last drive. But for the moment anyway, here is Farad. Backup quarterback, spent last year with Detroit, before that with the Redskins, giving to Terrell Davis. And Davis up to the 26-yard line. We get to meet the Raider defensive line and linebackers. Here they are.
Tony Bryant, defensive end, Florida State University.
Reagan Upshaw, defensive end from the University of California.
Grady Jackson, nose tackle, Knoxville College.
Darrell Russell, defensive game plan focus, University of Southern California.
William Thomas, outside linebacker, Texas A&M University.
Elijah Alexander, outside linebacker, Kansas State University.
Greg Biekert, linebacker, University of Colorado.
Upshaw in for the injured Johnston.
2nd down and 7 from the 26-yard line. Farad throws, that is caught up at the 30-yard line, 3 yards shy of the first by Dwayne Carswell. Tackled by Alexander.
And defensively, the Raiders are going to come right after Gus Farad. Check out this block by Terrell Davis on Greg Biekert. Got him down with a shot to the chest and then gave his quarterback time to get that ball up. But you know Farad is going to be under pressure. Has not played a whole lot this year. The Raiders are going to be coming after him, but with Davis blocking, they're in good shape.
3rd down and 3. Farad started one game this year when Griese was injured. That game against Kansas City. Gus throws and it's tipped, and a flag comes in from the secondary. Larry Nevers checking with his back judge.
What is his name? Larry Nevers?
Nevers. Holding, automatic 1st down. It's against Oakland, to the consternation of one John Gruden.
Gruden had to take the hat off. He can't be grimacing in chagrin with the hat on. It restricts his forehead muscles. He has to furrow that brow, and he needs...
Number 59, 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
William Thomas, the longtime Eagle.
He needs the mobility that the lack of hat affords him now.
There's William Thomas, number 59 right there. Ed McCaffrey is coming into the short zone there, and that's a great job of acting by Ed McCaffrey. Terrible call by the official. You got to be able to see that.
I think that's why McCaffrey gets whacked so much, because he fakes those.
Here's Davis on first down, slipping a tackle in the backfield. Turns no gain into a 4-yard pickup. Tackled by Grady Jackson.
I think the word's out on the defensive back grapevine that he feigns a lot of those falls, and that's why everybody goes Quasimodo on his melon all the time. Nobody takes more big hits than Eddie McCaffrey. When he started his career, that first C was a big C. That's how hard he's been hit out.
Quasimodo on his melon, and that will take us to the end of the first quarter. With Gus Frerotte playing, at least for the moment, in place of Brian Griese. Denver leading 7-3. And Monday Night Football from Mile High Stadium returns after this message into work from our ABC stations. After the play fake, throws that one, tries to throw it away, and nearly has it intercepted by Charles Woodson, one of the Raider defensive backs, and here they are.
Gussie, if you're going to throw it away, put it in the deep
Charles
seat.
Woodson, wide receiver, defensive back, University of Michigan.
Eric Allen, cornerback, Arizona State University.
Marquez Pope, strong safety, Fresno State.
Anthony Dorsett, the realist free safety, University of Pittsburgh.
And Brian Griese is back in the game. It appeared he was going to come in at the start of the second quarter. Frerotte had even put his jacket on and took it off through that last pass. Here's Griese again. Bruised shoulder is the report on Brian. 3rd and 6, and he throws bruised shoulder and all to Dwayne Carswell. The Raiders say they have the ball. There is no indication yet, and now they're saying incomplete. Greg Beaker took it all the way down the field, but one official comes in and says incomplete.
The ruling on the field is incomplete pass, 4th down.
Boy, that's real close to being a fumble. I'm not sure his knees were down when that ball came loose.
The ground can't cause a fumble, nor can dropping it.
And Shanahan is going to challenge. Throws the red flag out on the field. I think this is a worthwhile challenge.
They're all worthwhile. It's a noble cause, that challenge system. We're seeing that in West Palm Beach this week.
Boy, that is so close. He was fumbling with the ball, it appeared, and it just slipped out of his hand before Beaker even came over with the contact.
Well, this is a very interesting challenge here.
The ruling on the field that the pass is incomplete.
You see,
review the play.
This is a funny situation.
Yeah.
Because if it is a fumble and the Raiders recover the ball, that part of the play would not be challengeable because the whistle would have blown here to end the play. So what Shanahan is saying is if he wins the challenge, the play is now over at that point as a completed pass and a first down. Because if the whistle had blown, the rest of the play is over at that point. You can't challenge the fumble. So for Shanahan, it's a case of really having nothing to lose by challenging it, even though Oakland came up with the ball.
And Beaker didn't even go into the end zone, so he knew that once the whistle blew, that the play was over. But you're right, Al. This is so close. I'm not sure there's enough evidence to overturn the call on the field.
Demers checks it out. Here's one of the looks he will have under the hood. Possession, very close.
That ball's coming out before the knees are down.
Again, since it was ruled an incomplete pass, what Demers has to see is conclusive evidence that it was a complete pass.
Yep, and that was not a complete pass. Good sign for the Broncos, though, that Brian Griese could throw the ball, but you notice it was only about a 4-yard pass.
Now, do you guys both think it's really important that we get plays like this 100% correct all the time? What do you think? I'm not being adversary. I'm just saying, you feel the wind come out of this stadium. You've got a rocking Monday night in Denver. The place is jumping. We take a 5-minute break while some guy goes over the Zapruder film. Is this really what the NFL's about?
That's the downside to this thing. The upside is, you know, the replay system is in there to get it right.
I know, Al, but I don't know. Is right always right?
Depends on the definition of right, Dennis.
Yeah, it depends what the definition
Well,
of is.
you can tell we live in parsing times.
No kidding. For the last 8 years.
I'm just saying the game was flowing.
Dennis, I agree with you. When I was playing and we had the replay, I hated it because it did stop the game. It stopped whatever momentum you might have.
I don't think these people in this stadium care that much about it.
I think they went to the manual replay here.
The pass was complete. The runner was down by contact. First down. Denver will not be charged with a timeout.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, I am a little bit too. I thought that the ball was out before his knees came down, but so Dennis, I guess it's you're right. They don't always get it right.
I didn't even know what the replay was about, quite frankly. I just zone out when that happens. What happened there? Somebody dropped the ball and somebody said they didn't drop it?
He certainly did not have possession when his knees were hitting the ground.
Meanwhile, one of the things we should point out, Shanahan with a great and an immediate understanding of what that rule was, knowing there was no downside to that.
Yep.
Apart from, he would have lost the timeout, but he wouldn't have lost the ball on a fumble from the 47-yard line. Here's Davis up to the 48-yard line, gain of 1.
You know, Terrell Davis didn't expect to play or carry the ball as much as he did last week against the Jets. Had a huge day, got over 100 yards, but they were tough yards, and it's going to be tough yards again tonight for TD going against the Raiders.
You know, it was interesting the other night, Dan, when we were talking to Shanahan, and he was talking about, sure, they missed Terrell Davis's yardage. He said, we really miss him picking up blocks in the backfield because this guy cleans cobwebs out when he takes on a blitzer.
Second down and 8, the 49-yard line. Greasy whacked from behind. He never saw Eric Allen coming.
Wow, he just got down.
You know, Greasy, they say it's a bruised shoulder. Well, you don't go into the locker room and be checked out by the doctors when it's just a bruise. Eric Allen with his first sack of the year, totally unblocked, totally unread by Greasy, did not see him coming. Perfect play call by Chuck Bresnahan, the defensive coordinator for the Raiders. You got a wounded quarterback back there. You might as well punish him.
Eric Allen, who rarely blitzes, has not had a sack since 1993. He had 2 career sacks prior to that one. They came in successive games 7 seasons ago. Flags are down. Free play. It is caught by Carswell across the 50 to the Raider 48-yard line, but Oakland was offside.
Carswell with the 89 looked like an old Ditka bang-up job there.
Josh Taves, number 99, came across the line.
Josh Taves doing his Chester McLaughlin imitation.
Chester was always famous for jumping that gun, wasn't he?
He get his name on TV. Josh, you're on TV. Number 99, and you're offsides. This is smart by Greasy. Continuing on with the play, perhaps getting enough for the first down, but at least continuing on with it.
There were two flags. One of them clearly for Taves being offside. I don't know if the other one is for the same infraction or a different infraction. Larry Nemmers sorts it out and tells us.
Infraction. On number 99 in the defense, there is no play. Still third down. 5-yard penalty on the defense.
That was like another replay.
So they must have called that Taves might have been coming at the quarterback unabated, so that they blew the whistle. Although I did not hear a whistle being blown during that play.
Gruden taking a note from Billy Cowher there with the expectoration. Think that summed up his feelings about the call.
Teammates, some of his players refer to him as Little Chucky.
Yeah.
For all his facial expressions. I'm not sure it's what he wants to be called, but they call him that with affection.
He's always got that impish chagrin on his face.
13:25 in the game clock. 13:25 in the game clock.
So there was no play. They put 6 seconds back on the clock.
Gruden always looks like Sting with a toothache.
Gruden is 37. The coaches live in dog years.
Especially in certain organizations, huh?
Absolutely.
As long as Johnny gets his 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night, he's fine.
Third down and 12. Greasy throws. It is caught at the 47-yard line, but well shy of the first by Desmond Clark. And so it's fourth down, and in comes the punting group.
And it's apparent there's something wrong with Brian Greasy's right shoulder. 2 passes he's thrown so far, and you can see just by the way he's walking off the field, that right arm is just down by his side. He's got nothing on the ball. He could not throw the ball down the field.
Nice reach behind catch by Desmond Clark, though, between Carswell, he and Chamberlain. Looks like they've filled up that void when Shannon Sharp left.
Tom Ruin, he's been in what you call a punting slump in the last few weeks. This one he floats to the 6-yard line, and that'll be the end of the slump because they're going to down this one at the 1.5. Perfect. Rick Dennison, a very happy special teams coach. Early in the second quarter, Denver by 4. Raiders backed up. Oakland has it at their own 2-yard line. Early in the second quarter, 7-3 Broncos. Rich Gannon gives the ball to Kaufman, who gets out of the end zone and up to the 7-yard line before he's banged out of bounds by Ray Crockett.
Yes, I'm ready.
Let's check in with Eric Dickerson. Eric, we know you're ready. Go ahead.
Well, Al, one thing you can see, the Raiders have not been able to run the football tonight because without having Tyrone Wheatley. And now what they do with Kaufman is they let him run outside. But I've never been a big fan of teams having 2 running backs, which that means you have 2 different schemes. And what happens with the Raiders right now is that without the big guy, they cannot run the ball inside. And that is really hurting the Raiders right now.
Kaufman that time able to get out of the end zone. It's second down and 4. Gannon running for a first down and takes it up to the 14-yard line where he's stopped by Al Wilson.
Well, that's all fine and good if you have one running back like Eric Dickerson.
Just thinking the same thing.
Who combines the best of both guys, but it's not a perfect world.
Well, the Raiders are going to use Zach Crockett. They're going to use Napoleon Kaufman and Randy Jordan tonight, and they will try to run inside. You got to run inside, but when you got a quarterback that's as resourceful as Gannon, he's averaging 5 yards a carry. Picked up a huge first down that time.
Rich Gannon out of Delaware, 13th year in the league from the 14-yard line. And fires, and it's John Ritchie making the catch and tackled immediately by the ex-Ram Billy Jenkins.
Got a little Wrigley fun fact for you, Albino. Gannon is married to whose daughter? Tick-tock, tick-tock. Married to Bill Brown's daughter, the old fullback from the Minnesota Vikings.
One of your guys. You love Bill Brown.
I love Billy Brown. He was tough. Like Jimmy Taylor, man, the same back.
Same crew cut.
I know, he was a tough guy, man.
Short sleeves, whole bit.
Always. Short sleeves, they wore halter tops.
Second and 8 from the 16-yard line. On the ground, Kaufman. Not very far. John Mobley in on the hit. Third down and 6 upcoming. John Gruden, the head coach of the Raiders, grew up in the Dayton area. He was born actually in northern Ohio, then played at the University of Dayton. His father was an assistant coach at Notre Dame, among other places. John himself, the offensive coordinator at age 31 with the Eagles, and now in his 3rd year, and by a number of years, the youngest coach in the league. Third down and 7 at the 17-yard line. Gannon steps up, hit as he throws, trying to force it into Ritchie. It's incomplete. Ian Gold put the pressure on, forcing Gannon to throw that errant pass.
Ian Gold comes in on nickel situations because he's got great speed. Watch him run down Gannon. Just as Gannon's getting rid of it, if Ritchie catches the ball, he was going to be tackled way short of the first down anyway. Good defensive stand for the Broncos after that great punt by Ruin.
I think Ian Gold's got a little Tommy Jackson in him.
the punt. Delta O'Neal back to return it. Leckler, the Texas A&M rookie, kicking to the rookie #1 draft pick from the University of California. Oh, what a hit at the 37-yard line. He is buried at the 37-yard line, and the hit was made by Travian Smith. The Raiders think they have it, but no signal yet from an official.
Yeah, he just got knocked back to being a #4 pick.
I tell you what, you got to have better decision-making than O'Neal had that time. I believe the Raiders got this ball at the bottom of the pile.
They do.
Travian Smith with a huge hit.
Wow.
Along with Eric Johnson, number 41. Check out Smith is 53 from the left side of the screen. Right about there, right to the hat. The ball comes loose. And then Zach Crockett appears to be the first on the bottom of the pile with the ball.
They knocked the apostrophe off his jersey.
And he is still down, which is hardly shocking. Oh, man.
He was so indecisive on his return. He had a lot of room when he caught the ball. It just didn't seem to be able to make up his mind. He's not going to be able to make up his mind for a couple days now.
Look at his tongue. It's so blue and swollen.
It's cold.
Oh. And curved.
You are some piece of work. Oakland at the 37-yard line. Travian Smith creating the turnover. Zach Crockett is the tailback in this set. 9:30 to go in the half. They give it to Crockett. And he gets tackled after a gain of a yard, maybe 2. Eric Brown comes up to triple.
Yeah, the Raiders are the second best team in the league coming into the weekend, averaging 144 yards rushing. And tonight the Broncos are doing a super job of holding them down. Raiders have only got 13 yards rushing so far.
Raiders rushing over the past few years, second in the league to Minnesota. Yards per game, 144 coming in. Gannon with a play clock, as you see, down to 3. On 2nd and 9, surveying, throws, near side, hits Ritchie. He's tackled immediately, making the catch at the 33, about 6 yards shy of the first. Al Wilson and Bill Romanowski are both there.
John Ritchie's from Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. Is that a perfect city for a fullback to come from?
Near your hometown, huh?
Mechanicsburg.
Yeah, but he went to Stanford. Come on.
That's right.
There's not a lot of guys from Mechanicsburg make it all the way to Stanford. He must be special.
Dano, I was trying to get Trout Wiggy in with that, and you shot me down.
Is that near Altoona?
Suburb, 3rd down and 6 from the 33. And that's intercepted by Bill Romanowski at the 24. And Romo gets it back for Denver.
That was the most self-reassured interception I've ever seen.
And the worst run back you'll ever see, too.
But, I mean, he really gunned it like he thought he had something.
The first interception of the year for Romanowski, 16 on his career, and he takes it all the way backwards.
Romanowski wasn't built today.
.22-yard line.
I could tell we're at altitude, Al. I ran out of breath there. Hey, we did a benefit with Romo the other night, a charity benefit. He volunteered with Eddie McCaffrey to show. Well, here's a replay.
Yeah, that's a replay of his interception, Dennis.
Wow.
He knew that Tim Brown was coming over for that charity event, too, and that's why he picked that.
It was a nice catch, but he and McCaffrey, they raffled off. They were going to show up at a kid's birthday party. They ended up agreeing to show up at 4. I thought that was nice of the two of them.
And it made about an extra $48,000 as well. 2nd down and 8. And McCaffrey then drops this, what would have been first down pass, or close to it, up at the 28-yard line.
But not a great pass. And Greasy again is holding his right shoulder. It looks like it's restricting his motion so much now he can't get it up high enough to deliver the ball over the top. He's dropping down to about 3/4. And there's nothing worse for a quarterback to have not only the injury, but then the mental part of it where you're not sure if you're able to throw the ball or not. He's really gutting it out, showing his toughness right now.
3rd down 8 from the 22-yard line. Gracie fires to the 29. That's caught by Dwayne Carswell, but shy of the first down. Beekert and William Thomas are there, and Denver's forced to punt.
Gunned that run pretty well, though, huh, Dano?
Yeah, but how far did he throw it? Maybe 10, 12 yards. In this situation, and Brian would be the first to tell you, he'd like to be able to cut it loose and get it down the field far enough to pick up the first down.
Tom Ruin to punt. That is Darian Gordon, who played in 2 Super Bowls as a Bronco. Back to receive. Good deep kick. 19-yard line. Gordon tackled at the 25-yard line. So Tom Ruin with a 54-yard punt. Darrell Pounds makes the tackle. There's a penalty marker down. And it's Darrell Pounds who's actually down. No flag on the play. 6:26 of the half. 7-3 Denver. Yana.
Harmon, Greg Robinson.
From the 25-yard line, here is Gannon on first down, hitting Kaufman. And Napoleon with a 12-yard gain and a first down before he's ridden out of bounds up at the 37-yard line by Billy Jenkins.
I was talking to Gannon on Saturday. I asked him, do you practice these type of ad-lib throws? He says, you never know what's going to happen, so I do. I practice throwing sidearm. I practice throwing off balance, off the back foot, because of as mobile and big as these defensive linemen are nowadays, you've got to be able to improvise, and nobody does it better than Rich Gannon.
It's like that old Groucho aphorism. I sat home this afternoon and wrote my ad-libs.
Yeah, you got to practice them.
First down from the 37-yard line. Under 6 minutes left in the hand. Here's Kaufman. And Napoleon gets upended by Ray Crockett.
You know, boys, I got an odd Raider stat for you. For a team that stresses the vertical offense, or at least historically has done such, these guys have not had a 50-yard pass play in the last 35 games. Is that amazing?
Well, that's the West Coast offense that John Gruden wants to run with the Raiders, and he's got them at 8-1. And very productive, Dennis.
They leave James Jett in, though, when Rison's having such a good year, which makes me think they still want to do that vertical stretch thing because of Jett's speed. I guess they've got a more for the 2.
Jett only has 9 catches on the year, though.
2nd and 6. Here come the Broncos, and then the pass is dropped. All-out blitz, and then Andre Rison couldn't handle it.
Spider-Man usually webs those in.
Now, he was surprised at the speed of this pass. He's looking to the inside. Watch, the ball's right on him and right by him, and then he takes the lick. Wow. Look, Eric Brown with the big hit after the ball goes by. This could have been called by the officials. Helmet-to-helmet contact as well.
Look more like Peter Parker on that play.
Who?
Peter Parker, Spider-Man's alias, please.
3rd down and 6. 4-man rush. Gannon throws. Brown is there. And Brown into Denver territory. 1st and 10 at the Denver 39. Run out of bounds by Eric Brown.
Tim Brown just sneaking around in the secondary here. Gets on the underneath coverage here all alone. And now he picks up a couple of blockers down the sidelines. In fact, one of them was a Bronco who was covering the wideout on that side of the field. Crafty receiver, that Tim Brown.
10 tonight, 3 catches, 40 yards. At one time, he came close to becoming a Bronco. They made him a great offer in the early 90s, and the Raiders were forced to match it, and they did. Gannon airing it out. Incomplete. Overshooting James Jett. Jett's fast, but not that fast.
Raiders are confrontative. They were trying to put that 50-yard stat right back in my face.
Well, it still wouldn't have been 50 yards. We started at the 39.
Oh, but he would have caught it 8 yards, Steve. I'm talking theoretically. Don't hang me up with
39 and 8. That's 47.
I've had it up to here with all your bring down. Sorry, I had to quote Stephen Boyd from the Oscar. But it would have been 50 yards aesthetically. I could see it only a 39 actual, but you add the 11 for the end zone.
Right. And then through the tunnel.
All right, I screwed it up.
2nd and 10 from the 39-yard line. Swing it out to David Dunn. And his first catch of the night, and that's good for a first down to the 26-yard line.
the year. But he's a big guy, 220 pounds. He's got pretty good running skills. Watch as he just lowers his head here and drives through. Eric Brown, number 26. Take that, Eric Brown.
Eric Brown's a good tackler, too. I liked Dunn when he played for Pittsburgh. The kid, special teams receiving, he needs a better chance.
He's going to get it here with the Raiders.
Raider drive began at their own 25. Now they're at the Denver 25-yard line. And then flushed out. Safety valve is Randy Jordan. And he takes it to the 12, and that'll move the chains again. Tackled by Al Wilson.
Well, I tell you what, there is no shortage of head knocking going on. Holy cow. Gannon's got an hour to throw this pass. You see Jordan's just chipping on Hasselback right there. Gannon knows where all his outlet receivers are. Watch the hit right there.
What is the medical term? Slobber knocking, I believe.
Double team on the inside here was Newski and Barrett Robbins on Trevor Price, keeping the big guy away from the quarterback.
1st and 10 from the 11. 3:05 to go in the half. Gannon throwing and through the arms of Napoleon Kaufman. Knapp didn't know which way to turn on that pass.
You know, it looked to me like the ball might have been deflected. Gannon is never going to be a quarterback that throws the ball over the top. It really comes off his shoulder. Short, compact throw. I think Kavika Pittman might have got a right hand on that ball. That made it tough for Kaufman.
They could have called Jenkins for that, couldn't
they? I don't know what the guys in the white and black shirts are doing out there. And I mean the striped shirts. They're missing calls right and left. It's almost as if they get intimidated sometimes here at Mile High.
2nd down and 10 at the 11-yard line. Gannon has not been sacked tonight. Line doing a very good job. Protection again is good. He tried to thread it in and the flag is thrown. Tim Brown gets up and salutes the official for making the call.
Beautiful pass.
Terrell Buckley with the coverage.
What a great throw by Gannon, trying to squeeze it in here. Buckley is 27. Watch the post route. Outside move, inside move, and the left hand around the back will get Buckley the call.
First down on the 1-yard line.
Well, T-Buck played it about as sweet as he could there. I mean, it was just a perfect move, perfect ball right there.
But you cannot put your left hand around the receiver when the ball is coming from the right side.
Well, I'm sure we'll hear about that at the half from Terrell himself as he's flanked up for the half. This is where they normally go to Wheatley, who's inactive tonight, at the 1. So now they have to go to Crockett, and he's into the end zone to give Oakland the lead for the first time in the game.
Big Ray Crockett, 240 pounds. Raiders running inside behind the left side here with Newski. And Barry Sims getting the start. A couple of missed tackles there by Mobley and Wilson, and Crockett scores.
75 yards go the Raiders on that drive. Brett Conway just signed yesterday with Janikowski inactive tonight. And the brand new kicker here for probably 1 week only moves it through. So Crockett gives Oakland the lead late in the first half. 10-7 Raiders. Brand new stadium, about 75% complete. Next week we go to St. Louis. Great matchup, Redskins-Rams. Marquee matchup on Monday Night Football. Sunday, Jags-Steelers on ESPN Sunday Night Football. Short kick, 13-yard line. Delta O'Neal with his wits about him, we hope, after that monster hit. Brings it back out to the 30-yard line.
I'm sure Delt was thinking you got to get right back on the horse, Al.
When you're a Bronco, you have to get right back on the horse.
Hey, the last Monday night game in Mile High, my first game here.
Yeah, I'm going to miss this place. And I at the top, I talked about the fact, I think if I had to list my 10 favorite games in 15 years of doing Monday Night Football, probably 5 of them would have been played here, and the other 5 for this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been on a lucky roll, boys.
From the 30-yard line, 29, make it 1st and 10. Greasy throws, and Making the catch on his seat is Ed McCaffrey. Up at the 36, and now the Broncos going without a huddle here. Conserving their timeouts, 2.5 minutes. They have all 3 plus the 2-minute warning. So a ton of time. As Greasy has it batted back, it is spiked back like a volleyball by Grady Jackson.
Rejection.
Meanwhile, Terrell Davis hasn't seen that much action tonight after 33 carries last week. Terrell 7 carries for just 18 yards, 19 yards on the ground tonight for Denver.
Look at big number 90 here, spying the quarterback and moving laterally just in time to knock that ball up in the air. That ball was in the air a long time. Greasy had no idea where it was, and Jackson couldn't get to it.
3rd and 3, and now Greasy has to spend a timeout.
Timeout, Denver.
That's
their first team timeout.
They have
It'll
2
be a
plus
30-second timeout.
2-minute warning. Timeout, 3rd down and 3, Denver, when we come back.
I know that he wanted to go there, but I just don't think he's got confidence in his arm. You see McGriff right here. He's cutting to the sideline. Greasy trying to throw back across his body.
That's 4 interceptions for William Thomas this season.
What's his job now to come over and tell Shanahan if the wing's not working, right?
Yeah, at some point you got to be honest with yourself and be honest with your team. Right now, Greasy's a hurt quarterback. That's his 4th interception. Only his 4th interception of the year.
Only he's thrown over 300 passes this season. Here's Gannon. Nearly sacked. Gets it off. Slipping a tackle. Kaufman turns nothing into a little something. Bumped out at the 38-yard line with 2:05.
So how did Kavika Pittman not bring down Rich Gannon? Here he is right here. Watch him get around Barry Sims right there. Gannon just steps up in the pocket long enough or far enough to get the ball to Kaufman.
Looks like Gannon had the peripheral radar on there, man. He seemed to sense it, steal himself for a second, make the dump. The guy's cool as ice.
But you know what happened? Pittman was going for the strip. He was coming with that tomahawk chop, and when Gannon stepped up, he struck out.
2-minute warning. Oakland at the Denver 38 lap. At the 38-yard line, it is 2nd down and 6 for the Oakland Raiders, up by 3. They have all of their timeouts. Gannon shakes. On the run, then underthrows the intended receiver. He was chased by Tanavasa. Mic'd up is the voluble one, Terrell Buckley. We'll hear from him at the half. He's been mic'd up in the first half. And we'll also preview the Redskins and the Rams.
What's up, guys? Big night tonight. Big night. This is where we climb back into it. I think we're ready to play. We're ready to play.
Buckley talking about climbing back into it. If they lose tonight, Oakland would have a 4-game lead. If they win tonight, oh, look at this.
Albino, you're not getting older, you're getting less younger.
Thank you, sweetie. Look out, Gannon, hit, fumble, loose ball, and Denver has it. Kavika Pittman. Pittman recovers. Ian Gold stripped Gannon.
2 big plays tonight for Ian Gold, using his speed to get to Rich Gannon. There he is, 52. He goes right by Ricky Dudley. That's that Michigan-Ohio State thing happening there. Gannon fumbled 1 time in the first game, threw 2 interceptions in the first game. He's done both of those things here in the first half of this game.
You know, Gold's wearing 52, but he's not much bigger than a strong safety, and when he comes hard.
Ian Gold, the rookie from Michigan, that's his first career sack. Flag is thrown, Greasy's pass is tipped, and then Carswell drops it.
Gold's the new Atwater.
Penalty will be against Denver for a hold.
Check out this speed by Gold. Ricky Dudley never saw him, and neither did Rich Gannon. Bottom of the pile, Kavika Pittman with the recovery.
And going back to what you were just saying before, Dan, Gold was in no way going for the tomahawk chop. His prime directive was to take out Gannon, and then he thought about freeing the ball up.
Yeah, you know, he just had a real good free shot at him. And with his speed, didn't have to worry about going for the chop.
Yeah, he didn't really overdo the kill shot. He just kind of performed his task and then thought about freeing the ball.
1st and 20 at the 30. And moving on the right side as Dwayne Carswell started into the action before the snap. Now in terms of timeouts.
False start offense, number 89. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
It's Oakland that has to think about using them defensively, and they have all three.
Denver moving backwards with a couple of penalties. Holding, now offsides.
Mike Shanahan, as you can see, against the Raiders, head coaches with best records against a previously coached team. Saban second, Shula 35-17 after starting his head coaching career with the then Baltimore Colts. 1st and 25 from the 25. Greasy flushed out, chased from behind, and then airmails it into the Denver bench.
See, Gussie Farrat didn't know when you threw it out of bounds. You really got to wing it. No mistake with Greasy. That one was almost up here. I was ducking.
Gussie Farrat.
When you have a third or second down at 25, or now it's going to be second down at 25 now, the Raiders are coming after him. They sent the blitz there. Torrey James, number 20, came free. That forced Greasy to throw that one away, Dennis. But, you know, the Raiders smell blood right now. They know that Greasy can't get the ball down the field. They're going to be coming after him.
2nd and 25, vacant backfield, 5 receivers. Underneath, the pass is caught by Chamberlain. And Chamberlain gets out of bounds at the 42-yard line, about 8 yards shy of the first down.
I'm kind of surprised that they ran the ball 33 times last week, the Raiders with Davis, or the Broncos with Davis, and yet they seem reticent this week. And with Greasy's arm a little banged up, I'm surprised they're not pounding Terrell more.
They've only given him the ball 7 times. It's probably because he's only been able to gain 18 yards with those 7 carries.
Yeah, but you got to keep running him. I'm sure he's broke all the psychic adhesions he had last week. I just pound him if Greasy's damaged.
3rd down 10. Again, 5 receivers in this set. Greasy throws, and that pass is incomplete. Chamberlain was falling down. And it's 4th down. So not only will the Raiders get the ball, but they weren't compelled to use any of their timeouts, so they'll have all 3 when they get it back.
And it's important for Ruin to really kick this ball deep and give the Raiders a long field to go here at the end of the first half. But Ruin's having an off year. It's only netting an average of 30.8 yards. And in Denver, with a mile high, that's around a 20-yard average at sea level.
Darian Gordon back to receive it. Floating kick. Bounces at the 25. Takes a Raider bounce, and thus it is down by John Mobley at the 25-yard line. Speaking of Terrell Davis, we talked to him about how he felt after he carried the ball 33 times last week against the Jets.
Felt good afterwards. I mean, you know, my body felt pretty good. Carrying 33 times. Of course, I didn't really expect to carry that many times. I went to the game thinking anywhere from 10 to 15 carries. And next thing you know, I come out, it's 33 carries. But it felt good. It just felt good to go in there, get 30 carries, and just really get into the normal flow of things. So it wasn't really a problem.
Thank God his mom's priming him with that Campbell soup, Al. He's ready for anything.
I bet he gets a bunch of carries in the second half, Dennis.
And I bet you I get a case of free soup.
From the 25-yard line. Gannon throws, Brown juggles, takes the catch, picks up the first down, and gets out of bounds.
Just kidding out there. I don't want to get into any Allen Freed payola. Don't send me the soup.
You might call that the trifecta, huh, Al?
Yes.
Catches the ball, gets the first down, gets out of bounds, and he gets a can of soup. Soup for everybody.
How we're holding it.
2 chickens in every pot. At the 36. 70 seconds to go in the half. Gannon. He's going to run. He's going to slide to a halt. Up at the 43-yard line. That's a gain of 8 at 2nd down and 2.
You know, the Raiders bring Maury Wills in training camp. Teach Gannon how to do the hook slide there.
You know what I don't understand, though, is he did slide, and Ma'a Tanavasa, number 98, still comes over the top. Watch Ma.
Yeah, but he duck and covered.
They give him 7 at 2nd down and 3. Gannon fires, and in blanket coverage, Brown still makes the catch despite being enveloped by Jimmy Spencer. First down, timeout, Raiders, 36 seconds.
And you know why he made the catch? He expected to make the catch. He's a great receiver. Watch him out here working on Spencer. Just a hook route. Ball's on the way. He reacts to it, shields Spencer with his body, and makes a juggling catch.
You know, but Gannon doesn't even put it on the numbers. He puts it a little to the right of the numbers, right in that shoulder thing where they want to catch it, or right in the armpit area. It's beautiful to touch the guy.
Gannon talking to Gruden, and here's what Brown says about his coach, John Gruden.
He's able to handle this whole environment, you know, and when I talk about that, of course, you know, you got to be talking about a number of things, and one being Al Davis, you know, the other thing being, you know, the players, you know, Raider players are known for being just a little bit different, and I didn't know at 35, 36 if he can come in and handle the situation, and I think what he has proven is not only can he handle the situation, but he can excel in the situation.
I think Gruden lights candles at the shrine of the old Raiders, but he also knows they have to establish a new legacy.
First and 10 from the 46-yard line. Gannon sacked at the 50-yard line. That's Trevor Price with the sack. Clock momentarily stopped, and then Gannon has to use a timeout. Their second, they have one remaining.
Well, they ought to stop the clock so we can watch more of that dance by Trevor Price. 93 right here, with a great move on Mo Collins, splits the double team as Robbins comes over and then wraps up the quarterback Gannon. That's 8 sacks on the year now for the dancing Trevor Price.
And
timeout.
Shanahan gives some of the credit for those 8 sacks now to Kavika Pittman, who came over from Dallas. Shanahan said when he was at Dallas, they had kind of put him in the wrong scheme, but he's turned him loose here, and Pittman's got 6 sacks. I don't remember him being that aggressive when I used to see him down in Las Colinas.
Trevor Price with the ball at the 50-yard line, second down and 14 coming up here with 31 seconds remaining in the first half. This is where the Raiders might wind up missing Sebastian Janikowski with his powerful leg. He's still out with a bacterial infection. Conway's the kicker. They try to work into field goal range. Gannon slings it for Brown, who can't make a circus catch at the 24-yard line. He'd gotten position on the defender, Buckley, but he had to consider where the sideline was and couldn't hold it in.
Well, it might have been a circus catch, but you're used to seeing Timmy Brown be the ringmaster of these late half or late game efforts.
Third down now, 14 at the 50.
And Brown is gassed. He's going to the sidelines. Ryzen and Chet, the wide receivers.
On 3rd and 14, Gannon flushed out underneath to Ritchie, but he's tackled inbounds, then fumbles the ball forward at the 44-yard line, but they'll rule it dead at the 44. No holy rollers anymore.
Where have I seen that before? I'll tell you where. 1978.
Yes, you have. Firsthand, didn't you?
Stabler and Banaszak. In fact, Ritchie's wearing the same number as Banaszak. Number 40. Yeah, he did it just the same way. Now, where's Casper? That's not Casper.
We got to get the team therapist in here. Dano's got the vapors.
It's a flashback.
That's their third and final timeout.
Stabler wore 12, didn't he?
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Wow.
I've had too many Raider flashbacks, I think.
Well, it's karma, boys. That's why the rule's put in. You can't do it again, Oakland.
So the Raiders now, with 1 second remaining, have the ball at the 44-yard line. So if you're going to attempt a field goal here, it would be 62 or 63 yards. 63, of course, there is Janikowski. 63 is the NFL record held by jointly one Jason Elam and Tom Dempsey.
Janikowski has some sort of foot, what is it, Al? What has he got? Foot mange or what?
Bacterial infection. I don't know.
And his roommate, the punter, he's got an inflamed groin.
Check that rug out in that apartment, huh?
Yeah, they gotta get a maid over there.
Boy,
Something's
oh boy.
weird, man.
Some Lysol.
Jesus.
4th and 8. Do they go for a Hail Mary here? This is the all-time prevent defense. 3-man rush on a wing and a prayer into the end zone, and that was actually thrown out of the back of the end zone. And that's the way the Oakland opening half will end in Mile High Stadium. 30 minutes in the books. This great rivalry for the 11th time. It's a Monday night treat. Oakland and Denver. And through the first half of play, it is the Oakland Raiders 10 and the Denver Broncos 7. Here's Melissa.
All right, Al, I'm with Mike Shanahan. Mike, obviously the big question, Brian Griese's injured shoulder. How has that affected the offense?
Well, it's bothering him a little bit right now. We're just not playing as complete as we'd like. We got to get that running game going a little bit and get that going. I think we get a little play action off of it. Right now, the guys a little off balance. Hopefully, we can get a little bit better in the second half.
Do you think we'll see Gus Frerotte in the second half?
It all depends on how Brian's feeling.
All right, thanks, Mike. Let's go over to Eric.
Well, Coach, you've had some turnovers in the first half, but you still have the lead.
Yeah, we got to avoid turnovers in the second half. We knew it was going to be a big part of this game. They're applying a lot of pressure to us right now. We got to tighten it up here at halftime.
How about the running game? You try to get that going in the second half?
It's tough. They got a lot of guys committed to stopping a run. We're going to do the best we can to get it going, but we're going to try to win the game any way we can.
Thank you. Good luck. Back to you guys.
All right, Eric, they have 30 yards on the ground and 186 in the air. Buckley mic'd up coming up in the half. Skins Rams preview on the Lexus Halftime Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, check it out, John. Back by popular demand. Check it out, John. Are they crazy? Once again. Oh, check it out, John. Ladies and gentlemen, check it out, John. Back by popular demand. Check it out, John. Are they crazy? Once again. Oh, check it out, John.
Hey, how you guys doing?
This is Tony Gonzalez, tight end for the Kansas City Chiefs. He supports the United Way by preparing meals at a local community center. Tony has good hands. The kitchen staff knows this.
Heads up.
D-Bone. Sorry.
Tony Gonzalez. On the football field, he has good hands.
ABC Thursday, there's a little surprise on the way. Yeah, apparently there's some new guy coming to Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yeah, you remember me.
But is he really going to make it on a show like this with no plot and no scripts? Yeah, he'll fit right in. We'll see you Thursday on ABC.
Presented 4:30. Imagine how you'll feel driving it. And at the half here at Mile High Stadium, the final Monday night game to ever be played at Mile High Stadium, which will close at the end of the season 10-7. Oakland leads it. Mic'd up at the half. One of the more valuable cornerbacks in the league, formerly with Green Bay and Miami, now in his first season as a Bronco, Terrell Buckley, mic'd up at the half.
Big night tonight. Big night. This is where we climb back into it. I think we're ready to play. You nervous, Coach?
No. Cool, bro. You nervous?
I've been doing this too long to be nervous. How many you gonna throw my way? 5 or 6?
You know you want to get a cup over there. What the? We ain't gonna eat you up. Can't eat you. I told you can't eat the buck, man. Forget about that.
Hey, man, get off of me. What's up? How you doing?
Man, I got some disease. Huh?
You all right?
Yeah. I'll be all right.
Your foot, the swelling went down, everything?
Swelling went down. I'm walking now. I couldn't walk. I woke up the next morning before the game.
Just swollen.
I couldn't walk. I couldn't do it. Hopefully next week, I hope it. I wish I could kick in, man.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Yeah, this is a nice night tonight. Last night was cold.
You return one, I return one.
Don't leave that thing. Break it one, dog.
If you want me to start it off, I'll start it off. You got to get one for me, baby.
All right. That'll work.
We have Buckley mic'd up to the half on 3rd down and 13. Gannon chase and then throws, and it is picked off at the 39-yard line.
Good job, baby. That's the same route that me and you have been working on that whole time, you know what I'm saying?
Hey, they gonna throw the ball to Rise a lot tonight, because he getting there early in the last.
How does he look, though? Shake-wise.
Hey, John, you know they ain't gonna run it. You can get out of there quicker now. They ain't gonna run it.
Gannon. Oh, it's a fumble at the 13-yard line. George Coghill put the hit on the
killing him. Putting them hands on him. Hey, they got to throw one over that night at me. I got to be ready for it, take advantage of it.
The rookie #1 draft pick from the University of California. Oh, what a hit at the 37-yard line.
Let's go, D. It's on us again. Hey, this is a big series for us, baby. It's big, it's big, it's big. Let's move. Oh, my booty. Come on, pull him up. Hey!
On Monday Night Football, who knows what the second half has in store. We know that the schedule this year, as all of you know, has been unbelievable. And another beauty coming up next week as the Washington Redskins, with a mark of 6-4, face the Super Bowl champion Rams, who yesterday went into Giants Stadium to face the red-hot Giants. Trent Green throwing one of his 4 touchdown passes, that to Ricky Prohl. Dexter McLean with that interception. It was 28-7 after Trent Green ran for a touchdown. The Giants tried to come back in the second half, but London Fletcher ended their hopes with that pick. Green then with a 34-yard touchdown pass to Isaac Bruce. St. Louis wins the game by a score of 38-24. Jeff George will be the starter next week. Stephen Davis, of course, we'll see him in action as the Redskins, coming off a bye week, a critical game for them, go into St. Louis to take on the Rams on Monday Night Football. Now it's time to update the Bowl Championship Series standings. Of course, Oklahoma's #1, and then it would figure with everything going on in Florida, there's a lot of controversy as to who will meet Oklahoma in the championship game if the Sooners remain on top. Miami is 2nd, Florida State is 3rd, Florida is 4th, and Washington is 5th. Dan Fouts' Oregon Ducks are 7th. Brian Griese's dad, Bob, along with Brad Nessler, will announce the national championship game at the Orange Bowl on ABC January 3rd. Halftime here, Oakland 10, Denver 7. Each one of the original American Football League franchises. Denver will get the ball. Brett Conway to kick off. 3rd quarter underway at Mile High. Kick to the goal line, fielded by Delta O'Neal. And the rookie from Cal brings it back out to the 25-yard line. Tackled by Bobby Brooks. And let's take a look at the numbers. And I think what's interesting here, Dan, is that the Broncos have averaged 482 yards per game over their last 3 games, and tonight 100 yards.
100 yards, you combine that, and it's not a very good picture for Denver. Brian Griese is taking over to start the second half. That's a good sign for Denver.
They begin with a toss to Davis. Davis slithers out of the backfield, gets up to the 32-yard line. Tackled by Greg Beaker. Terrell Davis had those 2 great years in 97-98.
Well, he's really experienced the wild ride on the NFL roller coaster. You can see that great year in 98. A year later, he tore the ACL of his right knee and was lost for the year. Then in this season opener on a Monday night, sprained his left ankle, missed 5 games, but he's back on his way up. 100 yards against the Jets last week. They need a big second half out of him tonight.
And he begins the second half with a 7-yard gain, followed by a 4-yard gain. Tackled by Thomas, and a first down for the Broncos.
I saw Al Davis in the hall at halftime. Beautiful. I actually saw him. That's like if Elvis had lived. That's what I think what Elvis would look like today. It's
Didn't know who you were?
Huh? No. Smack me around a little.
Not the huddle.
Beautiful.
From the 36-yard line, first down. Griese throws, caught by McCaffrey. And McCaffrey takes it to the 50-yard line, tackled by Beaker.
We're getting our money's worth on the big hits tonight.
Oh, yeah. William Thomas got a big shot on McCaffrey, or rather, yeah, here's William Thomas, 59, right there, and just missed him. McCaffrey's a big guy. He's 215 and tough as nails. Nobody, as you said, Dennis, takes more shots, probably because he's from Allentown, huh?
Well, I think feigning those pass interference things catches up to him. Words on the street, if you get a chance, clock him.
incomplete. Eric Allen covering Rod Smith.
Yeah, I think that William Thomas might have got a hand on that one. Dropping into a zone coverage. He was reading the... Check him out right here. Watch him drop. And his right hand's going to get on that ball and just knock it behind Rod Smith.
Beautiful play.
Thomas already had an interception.
Boy, what a graphic depiction of a guy making his drop and read. That is textbook.
2nd and 10 at the 50-yard line. Baker blitzes, and then Davis runs right through that hole to the 36-yard line. So they sent Beaker through the middle, and Davis went right by him for 14.
They got to do that all night. It's Terrell Davis.
Now he got a great block by his fullback, Howard Griffin. Watch 29 right there from the ump cam. Davis goes right by the umpire. Big first down. Best run of the night for either team.
When doesn't he get a big block from Howard Griffin? Like Batman and Robin.
There it is right there.
Oh, that is nice.
From the 36, first down. Greasy on McCaffrey. Incomplete. Covered on the play by Eric Allen.
Can you get anything on the arm from that throw, Dano?
Well, the result was pretty good, but it was such an effort. He looks like he's so bound up that it was not a fluid throw. He got it down the field. I don't know how. Probably because he's such a tough kid.
Well, if he had any adhesions, they're torn out there.
Gannon tonight in the first half, 192 yards. And Greasy trying to work through that shoulder.
Those are not the numbers that these guys are used to putting up this year. Got to credit the defense tonight.
2nd and 10, flag is thrown. Movement up front. Another flag now from the other side. Gain of 1. Check in with Eric Dickerson. ED?
Well, Al, when I talked to Terrell Davis yesterday, I asked him what was the most important thing in this game. He said, Eric, I want to get back out to make sure I still can make the cuts that I made in the past. He carried the ball 33 times last week. He said he wanted to carry the ball a lot tonight, but what he will do, he says, he will bring himself out of the game when he feels like he's getting kind of tired.
And when he does, Mike Anderson spells him. That penalty was against the Raiders offside, so the ball is at the 31. It's 2nd down and 5.
You're talking about Terrell Davis and Eric Dickerson. You're talking about two guys who dwell in the ether. Only two backs ever in the history of the league to gain 1,700 yards in consecutive seasons.
2nd and 5 from the 31. Now Davis to the outside, inside the 20. Flag is thrown at the end of the play at the 17-yard line.
They're going to get holding against the Broncos. That's why Davis got to the outside.
I love the way this guy runs the football.
During the run, number 83. 10-yard penalty, still 2nd down.
Travis McGriff.
You got to get McGriff holding on a defensive back there. One of those chicken fighting things here, working against Eric Allen. He's got his right hand around Allen right there. And then as Davis cuts to the outside, the official will throw the flag in there.
And McGriff had come into the game because McCaffrey needed a blow after running that deep pattern. He came out, McGriff came in, and there's the penalty. Now Mike Anderson is in the game. Davis comes out for the moment. And it is 2nd down and 7. McCaffrey in motion. Greasy underneath, caught by Rod Smith to the 25-yard line and a first down. Tackled by William Thomas.
Well, that's nothing different for Smith. He's produced 47 first downs coming into this game on his catches.
Well, you know way he does it, Dennis. Watch how quickly, after he makes the catch, he turns up the field instantly.
Right.
And just that got him 3 yards and got him the first down.
Gone to the second earring and the granite glasses.
Came in with 58 catches, only his second of the game tonight for 16 yards at the 25-yard line. That is thrown behind Rod Smith.
Yeah, sometimes he turns upfield too quickly.
2nd down and 10. Next week to St. Louis we go. Our second look on Monday night this year at the Rams. Last time we saw them opening night when they beat the Broncos, and they'll take on the Washington Redskins in what has become a most critical game for Norv Turner's group. Skins Rams next Monday.
Will Marshall Falk, the Rams' Deus Ex Machina, participate in the fray.
Second down and 10. Davis in the game. Terrell gets the ball. Tries to cut it back. Picks up about 4 to the 22. Tackled by Thomas. Davis talking about what a tough rehab it was for him after reconstructive knee surgery.
It could really send a weaker man into retirement. I'm telling you, it's been tough. You know, it's been one of those situations where you have to deal with injuries and have, you know, to play with the pain is the toughest thing about it, and have to carry that through the season. And before that, I had a knee injury, so working the entire offseason for that, then to come back and have something else go wrong, it really puts you through the test.
Third down and 8 now. No backs behind Greasy. 5 wideouts. And it's caught by Smith, and he has a first down. So Rod Smith, 2 key catches, and a first down here tackled by Darian Gordon.
And both times, Dennis, like you were talking about, he caught the ball short of the first down, turned as soon as he caught it, dove forward and picked it up.
I know he's got a concise pivot point, doesn't he?
There's no waste of motion there for Rod Smith.
So first down now at the 13-yard line, and Davis has come back to the bench. They're looking at Terrell Davis, checking him out. Mike Anderson is the running back. The fake to Anderson, then out into the flat to Griffith. And the fullback takes it to the 6-yard line for a gain of 7, tackled by Eric Allen.
Can't say Mike Anderson doesn't carry out his fakes. I was following him all the way.
There's Anderson. There's that fake you talked about. Greasy's pretty good at it. And Howard Griffith's pretty good at getting out of the backfield and making catches. You're seeing the entire Bronco offense, because of necessity, with Greasy's arm not being 100%.
Second and 3 from the 7-yard line. Greasy, good as he throws, caught at the 3-yard line by Ed McCaffrey. Let's see where they give him forward progress. Very close to a first.
This is a real good drive for the Broncos. 13 plays now, almost 6.5 minutes off the clock, and on the verge of putting one in the end zone and taking the lead.
They may measure here. It's that close. Greasy on this drive to start the second half. They don't have to measure. He is short by about a half yard.
They'd love to get it in here, obviously, because the wind's starting to whip up a little, too. Might make the fourth quarter more interesting.
3rd and inches. Davis is back in. Dan circles him. Griffith is the fullback. Terrell seeks the first down and is bottled up at the 4. Doesn't get there. And as much as Shanahan would like to go for it here on 4th and 1, he can't in a 3-point game, and out comes Elam for the chip shot.
Yeah, this is a good decision by Mike Shanahan. Give your team some points after this long drive. Started on the 25-yard line. Beautiful way to start the second half. Come out of the locker room and get points on the board.
This is beyond chip shot. This is a lob wedge for this kid. He's kicked it 4 times back as far as this.
23-yard field goal. Ruin puts it down. Elam ties the game. And the Broncos have the ball for the first 7 minutes, 35 seconds of the 3rd quarter. The Raiders will have it for the first time in the second half when we come back with the game tied in Denver, 10-10. Or an old Bobbiatti. Kickoff at the 10 is fumbled, picked up, and brought back by David Dunn after the muff up to the 30-yard line.
Dunn took it on his chest like Brooksy Robinson, picked it right back up.
Throw to first in time.
Okay, let's do it. 1 potato, 2 potatoes.
As per league directives, I will not discuss whose line it is.
Or Danny Sheridan from the 29-yard line. From the 29 at 1st and 10, it's Napoleon Kaufman picking up 2 up to the 31, tackled by Maha Tanuvasa. Raiders with the ball for the first time in this half. Outgained the Broncos better than 2-1 in the first half.
And you know, you come out of the nice warm locker room and you stand around for 15 minutes or so, and it's difficult. This temperature is dropping here as we're going along.
get a new reading for you shortly. The game time temperature at the start was 20. On 2nd and 8, Hoffman. No gain to the 31. Let's check in on the field with Melissa.
Al, in talking to Mike Shanahan before the game, he said he was happy with the way his offense has been playing recently, but not his defense, especially his rushing defense. They were embarrassed against Cincinnati. He didn't like the way they played against the Jets. So for the past 2 weeks, they've been wearing pads in practice. And here's why that's interesting. Since Shanahan took over the Broncos in '95, the players have never worn pads after November 1st. He said, I don't care if you guys are tired. You better start tackling better. You better start stopping the run. That's the only way they're coming off.
3rd and 8, and Corey Dillon forced that issue as Gannon gets taken down at the 30-yard line, and they're forced to punt. It was Dillon who ran for 278 yards, a record. Mobley and Spencer in on the hit here, and the defense stiffens on Oakland's first possession.
Well, last week they clamped down on the Jets. They only had 88. Curtis Martin had 71, but Shanahan was still worried because they had a 5.2 average last week and only 18 carries.
Well, they are totally committed to stopping the run tonight. There's no question about that. Just 32 yards rushing for the Raiders so far.
Shane Leckler to punt, and it is blocked. It is blocked at the 17-yard line by Ian Gold. And the rookie from Michigan picks it up and scores his first touchdown.
The price of gold is skyrocketing. Kid knows how to shoot a gap.
Well, that is about as well designed as you're ever going to see. Perfect execution by the Broncos as Detron Smith cleared the way for Gold to get in on Leckler, and then Gold takes it the distance.
Elam tacks on the extra point. And they're roaring at Mile High as they have for 40 years. Broncos on top again by 7. Ian Gold not only played at Michigan, Ian Gold was born at the University of Michigan Hospital in Ann Arbor. Comes here, second-round draft choice, and he is the man of the moment.
Delivered by Bo Schembechler.
Elam's kick is a short one, 14-yard line. David Dunn on the run.
Look at Dunn.
And David Dunn brings it out to the 43-yard line.
No wonder Gruden digs him so much. The guy really turns it upfield.
Tackled by Delta O'Neal. 5:09 left in the third. Another beauty in the making on Monday Night Football. What else is new? Our interactive display. 16 different species of sharks. Gannon on first down throws, and that's broken up. Terrell Buckley mic'd up at the half, in on the play.
Let's go back to this block punt. Ian Gold's going to get a lot of credit, and he deserves it because he blocks it here and then picks it up and runs it in for a touchdown. But check out Detron Smith there, and in the other circle is Desmond Clark. Clark takes a personal protector out of the way. Detron takes the center out of the way, just perfectly executed.
It's beautiful, Dan. It was like a D-line stunt.
It really was.
2nd and 10, and Gannon's throw is caught by Rison on a slant. Rison gets tackled immediately at the 48-yard line.
This is just the second catch of the night for Rison. Dropped one earlier on a similar type of pattern. Make sure of this catch as Gannon throws it low to the inside away from Jimmy Spencer.
Close to a first down, they'll measure. Andre has caught touchdown passes for 7 different teams in his vagabondish career.
And both he and Tim Brown have 81 career touchdown receptions.
Guys, I'm in a stat hole here. I was not aware of any of this.
Well, you do that when there's a measurement, Dennis. There's nothing else to talk about.
Here's another stat from our statistician, weatherman George Hill. It's 13 degrees right now.
You must teach me the way of the Force, Yoda. I don't know these things.
Well, you know what? I'd be happy to, buddy. Just don't stand up on me again.
About an hour after the game, Dana will teach it to you. 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line. Gannon hit as he throws, gets it away, and then Dudley can't make the catch. Incomplete at the 35-yard line. Al Wilson came blitzing through and knocks Gannon down as he gets the pass away.
And you can see Gannon telling Ricky, I'm sorry, I'm doing the best I can. I had a linebacker right in my face. Impossible throw by Gannon. Almost got the reception to his tight end.
See how balanced the Raiders have been coming into the game tonight. The same number of rushing plays and passing plays. Huge difference tonight, though. As you can see, the Raiders 35 passes and only 14 rushes. Of course, they're minus Tyrone Wheatley. That's the difference.
Those 281 are broken down into 267 passes
and this is
sacks.
Price
There's
coming
another one
through to take down Napoleon Kaufman.
Wow. Met his Waterloo on the 45.
Price is huge at 295 pounds, and look at that athletic move, getting away from a great offensive guard, Steve Wisniewski, and then we get treated to another dance, but that was a spectacular move by an interior lineman.
And Kaufman went limping off the field. 3rd down and 15 now.
What was that dance? That looks like me after 3 Cosmos at a wedding.
And 2 Spears. 3rd and 15 from the 47. Gannon eludes the sack, going deep for Brown and incomplete. Covered by Buckley, 4th and 15.
This is riotous action. Did you see that Greg Louganis dive?
That was Eric Brown, the weak safety, coming on a blitz. There he is, number 26 here. Great block there. I think that's Zach Crockett. No, that's Randy Jordan taking away the legs of Brown and causing him to go all the way over. Gannon with a sidestep. We're lucky Eric Brown's still alive.
Throw out the high, throw out the low. Times by the degree of difficulty.
Leckler to punt. His last one was blocked. He gets this one away. O'Neal is back. Calls for a fair catch. Pulls it in at the 17. The Broncos have it there with 3.5 to go in the 3rd. And Denver trying to go to 6 and 4 on top 17 to 10.
We can expect Amy.
3.5 remaining in the 3rd quarter here. Big game coming up Saturday. That's a prime time game Saturday night on ABC. Number 4 Florida against number 3 Florida State.
That's going to be a
huge
headbanger.
From the 17-yard line, here is Davis picking up 6 up to the 23.
Draw play for the Broncos to start this drive. And Davis, with great vision, just gets tripped up there by his own lineman, or he might have gotten the 1st down.
He was low for breading it a little there. Lucky he didn't get hit earlier.
Davis, 59 yards, 14 carries. 2nd down 4. That's McCaffrey, but he has to come back to get it, and thus he is shy of the 1st by a yard. Tackled by Allen. It'll be 3rd down and 1.
You know, Dan, you're right about the arm just being a little off, huh? Earlier in the game, full stride. The ball was right there. It's just a hair off now.
You know, you really got to hand it to him because he's playing in pain. He's not giving in to the pain, and he's showing great leadership by playing with it. And he's got his team on top.
3rd and 1. Marquez Polk for a ride.
That was a Heisman statuette stiff arm there.
Put him on the Polkmobile.
You know, the quickness of Greasy to get rid of this ball and let Carswell do his thing with the stiff arm on Marquez Polk. But did you notice how Marquez pulled his hand down and actually used his hand to make the tackle?
I think he stiff armed him right in the groin too. You don't usually see that.
Raiders jump offside. Davis chugs his way to the 41-yard line, but they'll take the penalty unless it'll be 1st and 5. Believe it or not, we cover the earth here on ABC Sports. Tonight, as Larry Nemmers will tell us, this is offside against.
Defense, offside, number 58.
Can you believe this?
5-yard penalty.
Michigan State beat the Harlem Globetrotters 72-68. The Trotters' winning streak ends at 1,270. You know, I don't know, is somewhere, I don't know if Red Klotz is dead or alive. I'm sure we'll find out before the night is done. But he's got to be laughing.
All I know is I had the Trotters in 3.
All I know is that Red Klotz could never get the job done with the Washington Generals, but somehow Michigan State beats the Trotters tonight.
No betting out there, America.
It was a joke.
No betting.
First down from the 45-yard line. And they'll convert here as Ron Smith takes off down the sideline and gets all the way to the 32-yard line.
Smitty lead the league and plays over 20 yards with 19. There's his 20th.
But meanwhile, Brian Griese took a huge shot from Josh Taves. The outside here, here's Smith working against Eric Allen, or against a very soft zone. Again, the quickness to get up the sideline is so impressive. Should have been a penalty there for a face mask there on Eric Allen. That's a 5-yard variety of a face mask right there.
Boy, you're right about him, though, Dano. He's very impressive after he gets the ball. He's got that Johnny Taylor acceleration.
And the Raiders have to take a timeout with 36 ticks left in the third. And Denver on top by a score of 17-10. So Brian Griese, tough season for him, off-season shoulder surgery.
And he's been taking a beating all night long. This is from the first quarter. That was the injury that sent him to the locker room. And now Eric Allen with a blitz after the injury. I tell you one thing, he gets hit again on this play. Watch number 99, Josh Taves, and watch, it's right down on his right shoulder one more time. Gutty performance from Griese, but what do you expect from a son of a Hall of Famer?
Guys, I want to apologize to you and the viewers at home tonight for putting a Y on the end of everybody's first name. I don't know what it's about. It's a thing. I'll work through it. I'll get better.
Okay, Denny. First and 10 at the 31-yard line. Here is Davis. Fumble! If the ball goes out of bounds, it's Denver's ball, and it is.
He was holding that earlier one like a loaf of bread. This one got punched right out.
Anthony Dorsett punched it out. This is going to be a big game, too. Dorsett comes from his weak safety position, and with the right hand, just slaps it out. Davis was moving the ball from his right hand to his left hand, and just an instant after that, Dorsett with perfect timing right on the ball. Fortunate for the Broncos, it rolls out of bounds.
It was textbook running back execution, moving to the outside arm, but he got caught right there in the DMZ.
Yeah.
Big quarter for Denver. This figures to be the final play of the period. Davis picking and threading his way to the 30-yard line. When the fourth quarter begins, it'll be 3rd down and 9 for the Broncos, who end the third period on top 17-10. And Monday Night Football resumes after this message from our ABC stations. And we start the fourth quarter. 3rd down and 9 for the Broncos from the 30-yard line. They convert. It is caught by Chamberlain, and Byron Chamberlain rolls inside the 15.
Last week against the Jets, the Broncos converted 66% of their 3rd down situation. Tonight, Griese in the second half has been outstanding, finding the slant by the tight end there, Chamberlain. But the reason they're successful, they're making quick decisions after they make the catch, and they're in very manageable 3rd down situations. Mostly 3rd down and medium, not 3rd and real long.
1st and 10 from the 13-yard line. Back to Davis, and he gets wrapped up for a loss of 2. In the first half tonight, the Broncos had the ball for 11 minutes and 19 seconds. In the third quarter alone, 11 minutes, 7 seconds. There you go.
Wow.
I'd like to have Chris Matthews come in and And how great is Chris Matthews, by the way?
He's the smartest guy on television. He and Hitchens. How has this whole thing come down to overseas ballots? We're going to leave it up to the people who got out. Is that what you're telling me? The people who split.
I'm telling you today, Chris Matthews was just off the charts great. Second down and 12 at the 16-yard line. Greasy throws, caught at the 12-yard line by Ed McCaffrey. Tackled by Greg Biekert. Big third down play coming up. Check out the numbers through the first 45 minutes of competition.
What the Broncos have been able to do in that third quarter is to possess the ball for over 11 minutes and get their rushing going again with Terrell Davis. Total yardage about even, but the Broncos have got the score here. You can see the time of possession here right now, but 11 minutes in that third quarter for Denver.
3rd and 9. Greasy fires, caught, touchdown, Byron Chamberlain.
You gotta love what Shanahan's doing with this three-headed Hydra tight end situation. Boy, it is amazing.
Well, Robert Brooks is inactive tonight. He's one of the wide receivers. So they're really only going with 3 wide receivers and using all 3 of their tight ends, Carswell, Clark, and that time Chamberlain for the score.
Elam for the point after. Mike Shanahan trying to make it 11-1 against the team he coached in '88 and part of '89. Up by 14, 24-10 Denver.
Jensen, that's not getting it done. You gotta squeeze that hole.
Jensen, this isn't college. It's time to show what you got.
If I get beat this time, cold one's for everybody.
Make it a Coors Light and you're on.
I can taste it now.
Done. Ready, Junior? Bring it on.
All that. Rookie, meet the coach. The old man.
Out of the way, Malone. You're never going to make a block with your center up. Keep it down. Your head up. Your back straight. Keep a leg under you. Drive!
Don't forget my beer, Junior.
Coors Light, frost brewed at the edge of freezing.
Like I said, Coors Light for everybody.
Jensen. No hard feelings.
It's not exactly my feelings that hurt, sir.
Let's hear it for the lady. The one whose work is never done. Without you, none of us would even be here. Here's to you, Mom. From a car with the right stuff to get you through it all. Chevy Malibu. The car you depend on every day. Just like you, we'll be there.
I'm John Drury. Tonight after the game, a county fair hike is closer to becoming a reality, and a Blackhawk legend secures his fame.
Back in Denver at Mile High Stadium, the Broncos, if they win, they'd be 2 games back of the Raiders. And they will have beaten Oakland twice, which could become very significant. David Dunn. Not past the 35. Another good run back for Dunn. Tackled up at the 41-yard line by Desmond Clark. Greasy after hitting Chamberlain for the touchdown to make it 24-10.
The sleek 200 horsepower Chevy Monte Carlo SS.
Hot.
The sight you show the world is up to you. Monte Carlo will be there.
My name is Master Chief Billy Sunday, and I am God.
Diving is the most dangerous job in the Navy.
I'm not just good at it. I was born for it.
If it's lost underwater, he finds it. If it's sunk, he brings it up.
Got a man dying down there. Stand fast, Chief. He'll be dead before you get to him.
I'm ready. Let me go.
If he's lucky, he'll die young 200 feet beneath the waves, for that is the closest he will ever get to being a hero.
What makes you try so hard? Because they said I couldn't have it.
Men of Honor. Rated R. Now playing only in theaters.
Now at Zales, you'll find our holiday keepsake music box filled with chocolate bells and a diamond heart for just $99. No need to check twice. It's on our list. At Zales stores nationwide or shop online at zales.com.
Why did we take the bones out of Chili's boneless buffalo wings? 1, so there's nothing but tender white meat in every bite. And 2, because nobody ever said, great bones.
Let's go, man. Get up. Don't be lazy. Let's go.
Florida takes on Florida State Saturday night on ABC.
Monday Night Football from Denver being brought to you by Coors Light, proud partner of the John Wayne Cancer Institute and their search for a cure. By Fidelity, all the expertise, service, and technology to help you see yourself succeeding. Chevy trucks, the most dependable, longest-lasting trucks on the road. And State Farm Insurance, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. 1st and 10 from the 42-yard line for the Oakland Raiders, down by 2 touchdowns. Gannon snaking his way out of trouble and then goes down on a heap at the 39-yard line. Ma'a Tanuvasa will get credit for a sack.
Dano, you got to point out what you noticed. Only an ex-QB would notice this.
Well, this is his 19th touchdown pass of the year to Chamberlain. A perfect strike, but you know Brian Griese's hurting. Because usually when you throw a touchdown pass, you kind of celebrate a little bit, throw your hands up in the air. He's hurting so bad, he can't even signal touchdown.
Beautiful call, my man.
Been there.
2nd and 12 from the 39-yard line. Gannon and open and making the catch out in front is Andre Rison. He beats Buckley and then Buckley throws him down at the 10.
This is just what the Raiders needed to get back in this ballgame. A double move by Rison on the outside. Buckley thinking it's a run pass. Bites on the fake. Perfect throw by Gannon. Watch Rison. He's trying to get in the end zone here. But Buckley says, out of bounds. Knows he got beat by a little in and out move by Andre Rison. But you know that Gannon's going to take a shot there. That's Kavika Pittman. Too late, Kavika.
1st and 10 from the 11. Pump fake, Gannon throws and then overthrows Andre Rison, who with that last catch went over 10,000 receiving yards in his career.
Well, they tried
49-yard pass.
And now they tried to do about the same type of thing that time. Faked Rison to come on the slant route, then back to the outside. And Gannon just threw him a horrible pass.
2nd and 10. Gruden calls the plays. He's one of the few coaches in the league that not only calls the plays, but communicates to the quarterback into Gannon's helmet. No middleman. 2nd and 10 from the 11. What protection. Great job by the line, and then Kaufman drops it.
Wow, even Gannon, who's usually a pretty buttoned-down character, just waved his hand in indignation that that ball was dropped.
Yeah, not very often we have a running back willing to catch the ball over the middle, but at times you're just going to have to make that catch. Kaufman with a flat-out drop there of a perfect pass by Gannon. This would have given the Raiders the ball inside the 5-yard line, and with Kaufman's moves, he might have got in the end zone.
Wonder what Gannon thought of it.
3rd and 10. Crowd stamping its feet in unison. Out of the end zone. Another bad pass. Brown covered by Crockett. 4th down.
Is this booth safe, man? This joint is rocking.
We only have one more game to get to. I've always been very nervous here.
Wow, the whole place is shaking in here.
Having been in San Francisco in '89, and Dan knows the feeling.
And Gruden, he wants a touchdown. 4th down and 10, he's going to go for it. And if I'm Rich Gannon, I'm looking for my big tight end, Ricky Dudley. 6'6", huge target. target down here.
4th and 10, down by 14 with 11:44 to go. They go for it. Gannon throwing. Brown cannot make the catch when a flag is thrown. I think Keith Traylor tipped it. And if he tipped it, then there's no interference call. So if they call interference, but it's a tip ball, the interference is waved off. Traylor saying, I tipped it.
No question about it, Al. Traylor did tip this ball. There will be no pass interference. It'll be Denver ball.
It is up to an official, either the line judge or the side judge would have had the best angle to see if it was a tip. And that's what they call it.
Defensive pass interference with the ball, tip ball.
The officials in the secondary are only looking for interference. They're not looking for the tip.
Boy,
clearly tipped.
Clearly tipped, barely caught by Brown.
Yeah, he almost tipped it right into a spread basket.
Right through the both hands of Traylor and then through both hands of Brown.
And Denver gets the ball back with a 14-point lead thanks to Traylor.
I'm the State Farm agent here in Montpelier. For a one-stop light town, we do get our share of accidents. When somebody has an accident, it's unsettling enough. The last thing they want to deal with is calling 1-800 and put in your 12-digit number. That's not very personal.
Over 16,000 State Farm agents.
Our rates for car insurance are very competitive.
It's no accident. They insure more cars than anyone else.
This is my town. Hi, Jasmine.
You want me? Back off! He's a killer!
All right, guys, go out there and skate hard, okay?
Like a rock, I was strong as I could be. Like a rock, nothing ever got to me.
Imagine how dependable you have to be to carry somebody's dream.
Like a rock.
Chevy Truck, proud sponsor of the U.S. Olympic team.
Tomorrow, their marriage has weathered many storms.
You cannot join the Army.
But can they get past this?
Dharma, there's nothing to talk about.
Dharma and Greg, tomorrow on ABC.
The Beatles Revolution. Exclusive interviews with today's biggest names. Experience the legend, the Beatles Revolution. You'll see it Friday right here on ABC.
Albino, it's so cold tonight, the junior mints are frozen into a semi-milk dud mode.
We'll be inside next week. We'll fall out from the 11-yard line. Davis. Dan, let's talk about Gruden. It's not a no-brainer call. He decided to go for the touchdown. In the years before the two-point conversion, that would have been clearly a call that you don't second-guess. In this particular case, if he goes to the field goal there, you can still tie the game with a touchdown, a two-point conversion, and a field goal.
Yeah.
So an interesting choice by Gruden.
Well, in hindsight, it doesn't look that good, and it's very deflating right now for his ball club to come away with no points at all.
2nd and 9 from the 12. Ron Smith up to the 13-yard line. You know, one guy we haven't talked about tonight, Darrell Russell, Pro Bowler, had a great start to his career. Pretty quiet for tonight, Dan.
Well, he was the #1 pick of the Raiders 4 years ago. He's got extraordinary speed for a man who weighs 320. That speed has got him 25.5 sacks so far in his career. 2 trips to Hawaii. But it's his unstoppable V8 motor that has impressed his teammates. Hey, they named him captain this year.
Wow, needs a roll-aid.
3rd down and 8. Davis. He gets taken down to 15. That's exactly what Oakland needed, a 3-and-out.
Well, Russell warned us in his introduction up front. He said, I'm going to be the focus of the game plan. I think they've game planned them right off the field.
You know, the amazing thing about the Bronco offense, only 3 negative plays tonight on offense.
Meanwhile, you see the Raiders, the first half of the season, over the last 5 seasons, they've done well, and then a second half collapse, 12 and 28. And they certainly hope it doesn't happen this year, coming into this game 8-1. And in trouble right now as Tom Ruin gets it away. Darian Gordon back at the 38-yard line. And Gordon brings it back to the 48-yard line. Helmets flying, bodies flying.
There's a human head in that helmet! Oh, sorry, I had a bad read. I thought I saw a head in there.
Got to find a hot receiver.
You know, I think they've got a firewall against the second half collapse this year, and it's called John Gruden. I think he'd meet him right at the gate and forbid that.
His team will take over near midfield with a lot of time left, but they're down by 14.
Introducing the all-new Silverado Heavy Duty. The most powerful heavy-duty pickup you can get. Silverado Heavy Duty. More truck from Chevy.
She's got teeth.
Yep. 36 of them. Big things will tear through wood.
The Sears National Hardware Sale, where you'll find these Craftsman power tools just $189 each. Only at Sears.
Go back to sleep. Morning. Good morning.
Where is she? Your mom will be here in a minute.
Hi, sweetie.
Hi, sweetheart.
Hi.
At McDonald's, we make breakfast hot, fresh, right to order. See you on your way to work or on your way home.
This impressive panorama was shot with the miraculous little elf. The Elf 2, the 2-time zoom camera that's the world's smallest. Have you seen all the elves? Only from Canon.
Hey, remember Gina's dress at the Emmys? Tuesday, a show about finding out she was pretty much
naked, okay?
The Gina Davis Show. See you Tuesday on ABC.
Football.
In Denver, the Denver Mint, where they mint only coins, no paper. Used to be the Denver Junior Mint, Dennis.
Wow. Look at that. It's like Trevi Fountain, baby.
From the 49-yard line, Rick Shannon throwing on first down. And on a slant, he gets Andre Rison. And the ball was loose, but they're ruling the play over at the 37-yard line. Gain of 14 for Rison. And the Raiders right now going without a huddle with 9:15. A lot of times they have 2 timeouts remaining. Plus, of course, the 2-minute warning looking ahead. But without a huddle on 1st and 10, Gannon fires, caught by Brown on a slant. And just like that, they're the Denver 23.
Those slant patterns have been awful good for them tonight. Gannon getting back with the 3-step drop. And both Tim Brown and Andre Rison on the play before getting inside of Jimmy Spencer.
Now they go back to a huddle.
And you know, the good field position kind of in hindsight reinforces Gruden's decision to go down there. Go for it a little earlier.
From the 22 on 1st and 10. Gannon drops it off to Rison underneath. He gets tackled at the 16-yard line by Ray Crockett. It'll be 2nd and 4. Since it's Andre Rison's first 100-yard game since 1997. 5 catches for a $107.
Again, the Raiders are going to go with a no huddle. Gannon taking his time at the line of scrimmage, calling the play, but there's Rison on the crossing route.
Toss it back to Jordan, and he takes it to the 12-yard line. Randy Jordan will move the chains.
Amazing the way he gathered his feet under him. He almost tripped behind the line, got it together, and as some other announcer in another station at the KISS says all the time, it always makes me laugh, got positive yardage. I love that positive yardage thing.
Got a first down, too.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's positive yardage, Don.
1st and 10 at the 12.
This boot's caving in, boys.
Gannon to Brown, and he would have scored, but he started to stumble. And he gets to the 2.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple of players stumble. You wonder if the field is starting to freeze now. Tarp's been off it now for about 5 hours. Tim Brown should have scored on this play, but looked like he tripped over his own feet.
He picked up enough for the first down. 1st and goal.
Another sidearm sling by Rich Gannon.
Gannon's like Kent Jacoby with that thing.
1st and goal at the 2. Incomplete. Crockett covering Brown. Might have tipped it. I couldn't tell. Brown couldn't hold it. 2nd and goal. Closer look here.
Well, let's take a look at it because Brown is going to come out in the flat. Crockett with good reaction. No, that's just a flat drop pass. Man, you don't see Tim Brown drop a pass, and you never see him drop a pass when he's going to score.
And you never see him drop a pass after he's just tripped over his own foot.
Now out of a tight formation on 2nd down. Crockett in the backfield. He's the eye back behind Ritchie. On 2nd and goal. They give it to Crockett, who scored in the first half. And
Crockett.
He's in there for the touchdown.
Strong stuff from Crockett. Woo. Killed a bar when he was 3. Crockett, yeah.
John Ritchie, 40, leading the way. Mo Collins as well, coming around on the linebacker Al Wilson, and Crockett scores easily.
That's a Raider. That's a Marky Van Egan run there. That's tough stuff.
2nd 1-yard touchdown run for him tonight. Conway to the point after. Lechler to hold. And the kick is good.
All right.
6.5 to go in regulation. We're headed for another one of those Monday night finishes. 24-17, Denver.
Speed, reliability, performance. The qualities that won Lance Armstrong the Tour de France. Now, they're available in international delivery. Introducing Global Express Guaranteed from the U.S. Postal Service and DHL. Delivery to over 200 countries in as little as 2 days guaranteed. Now, you'll know which team to ride with.
Fly like an eagle. Taxi! Excuse me, this is my cab.
Okay, look, I'm sorry.
Are you going downtown? Because I'm going downtown. Come on, let's share the cab.
Why not?
You're with Fidelity.
That's right.
Let me ask you something. I still have a 401k from a job that I had 3 jobs ago.
Mm-hmm.
Can I move that?
Most of the time, sure. It's called a rollover. We do them all the time.
Really?
We can do all the paperwork, and then you just sign, roll it into an IRA, and you can buy stocks or mutual funds, whatever you're comfortable with.
And I'd be in control of it?
Sure.
It's great. Get my life down to 1 sheet of paper.
To invest, call, click, or visit Fidelity.
Remember the dress Gina Davis wore to the Emmys? Tuesday. She'll show you what that is all about on the Gina Davis Show. That's Tuesday, otherwise known as tomorrow.
That sounds hot, Al. Wow. George the Animal Steel.
Ever think about electrolysis?
D.B. Cooper went down in that guy's back hair.
Denver by 7. Conway's kick. O'Neal fields it at the 5-yard line. Delta O'Neal is taken down up at the 26-yard line. Tackle made by David Dunn. Reminder, ESPN Sports Center. All the highlights of tonight's game. Reports from around the NFL, all the day's sports news following the conclusion of the game. There's a flag down back at the 20. Larry Nemers tells us it is against the Broncos.
You know, boys, over the years, the Broncos and the Raiders gone to overtime 7 times. Most games by any pair of teams in NFL history, and when the pump is primed for an 8th tonight, my young friend
During
Al
the
Michaels.
return, number 89, 10-yard penalty.
Called by Ernie Nevers.
Otherwise known as Larry Nemers.
Oh, sorry.
Tell you what, field position now, the Raiders, after Gruden went for it on 4th down, Raiders got good field position for that very quick 51-yard drive. It only took 3 minutes off the clock. If their defense can do another 3 and out here, Dennis, I hope I'm not boring you with all this football talk, but they're going to get good field position again.
Dan, I hang on every word. You're saying they've got good field position.
Terrell Davis, a big key in this drive here as they try to chew the clock. They'll start with a pass, though. And Greasy for McCaffrey, who hauls it in and somehow stays with it and pays the price, hit by Anthony Dorsett. And somehow, some way, hangs on and maintains possession. But an injury timeout here after a 21-yard reception.
Ball thrown high by Greasy. Great catch by McCaffrey at 6'5", and a good, clean shot by Anthony Dorsett, laying him out. Here he is right here. Watch Dorsett come over. Fingertip catch, and then the kiss.
Wow.
From Dorsett.
Complete focus by McCaffrey in his own world.
And the crowd saluting him, a chance of Eddie, but I'm not sure he can hear anything right now.
Yeah, you know, he got hit right on the jaw, too. Another helmet-to-helmet hit. We'll see what the league says about that one. McCaffrey's lucky he didn't break his jaw right here.
You know, sometimes that helmet-to-helmet stuff seems preordained, but sometimes it just seems to be the rub of the game, doesn't it?
Yeah, you know,
that's a clean hit.
It is a clean hit, but the league will probably say it's an illegal hit.
And he gets up and trots off the field.
It's football. Eddie, you're a stud. Look at that.
I wish we had another angle so I could see that hit again.
Look, how much does Eddie live for this? Big catch, takes the hit, walks off. It's beautiful.
He trots off the field. There he is after his 6th catch, and what a beauty that was at the 35. Travis McGriff comes in for him from the 35-yard line. Davis cuts it back, gains 7, up to the 42-yard line.
You know, Al, my old friend Kenny Stable used to have a line for that type of hit. He would say something like, well, Ed McCaffrey's going to be on a soup diet for about a week after taking a shot like that. Of course, he'd say it with a little bit better of a southern accent.
And Terrell Davis's mother can bring it to him.
Well, the Broncos are answering the clarion call here. Eddie McCaffrey stretching out. Terrell Davis bucking up inside. They got to close these guys out here. Don't give them the ball back.
McCaffrey is back in the game. Split to the left on 2nd and 3. And they give it to Davis, and Davis can barely get out of the backfield. Cut by William Thomas. Big tackle there. Big play coming up here. 3rd down and 2. Aerial footage tonight above Mile High Stadium with more than 75,000 looking on, provided by Southwest Airlines.
Now, Dan, when they give that quick hand up off the middle like that, and it's such a quick hitter, isn't that reverse fake by the quarterback just extraneous? Is anybody still reading that at that point?
Well, what they're trying to do is change the force on the play from safety to weak side linebacker. But you're right, it's such a quick hitter, it's very distracting.
Very important conversion here, considering the time left on 3rd and 3. Greasy throws, and it's knocked down. Great defensive play made by Elijah Alexander to knock it away from Carswell.
What a pro play by Alexander.
You got to think that the Raiders have seen enough of these slant routes right in here. Real close to being pass interference by Alexander. This is about 6 of these passes. This is the type of pass that Chamberlain scored on earlier.
Alexander, beautiful hands.
Tom Ruin to kick. Darian Gordon back to receive it. Big time kick. Fielded at the 11-yard line. And Gordon taken down. Good coverage by Rick Dennison's unit at the 14 after a 48-yard punt by Ruin.
And the field position thing flips now, Dan.
There is Rick Dennison saluting his gang with 411. A reminder coming up next week. It's the Washington Redskins off their bye week 6-4 against the 8-2 St. Louis Rams. Washington and St. Louis next Monday.
Hate to put any pressure on the Skins and Rams, but we demand a big game and an exciting game like we've had all year.
Yeah, I smell one next week, boys.
First down, Oakland at the 14-yard line. They have 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning from the 14. Gannon throws, caught, Risen gets knocked down at the 23-yard line, a little shy of the first by Eric Brown.
Yeah, the Raiders had a great comeback earlier in the year, second game of the season against Indianapolis. The thing that Gannon told me about it is that he was impressed at how the team didn't lose their poise at halftime. They just came out, and with Gruden's leadership and discipline, they just started making a couple of plays, got the momentum, and just took over the game and won it.
2nd and 1. Gannon sidearms it, caught, first down. That's Randy Jordan. They'll move the chains. 1st and 10 at the 26. 3.5 to go.
Boy, Gannon is really aware of where all his chess pieces are at any given moment, isn't he, Dan?
He certainly is. He's got a great understanding of this West Coast offense of John Gruden. He fits it perfectly physically, moves around in the pocket great, makes the tough throw, but it's the mental part that we're seeing now. He knows where everybody is, as you said, Dennis.
I usually don't buy that reads progression thing, but you can really see his computer working.
1st and 10 at the 26. Gannon,
lot of time.
Chase from behind, then throws, and it's incomplete, which is a good thing as it turned out. Jeremy Brigham. The chase was put on by Kavika Pittman.
Got to call that one a coverage sack because he had sundial time back there.
He's lucky to get it off before he was sacked. He got sacked 4 times in the first half, but here in the second half, that offensive line doing a great job. There was at least 7 seconds for him to find a receiver that time.
2nd and 10 at the 26. Receivers putting a stack to the left. Now they break that with Dudley in motion. Gannon, a little shovel pass taken in by Randy Jordan. And Jordan gets to midfield. He's forced out of bounds at the 50.
Wow.
This is what Gannon's all about. Remember, when he was drafted out of Delaware, he was drafted by the Patriots as an athlete, not as a quarterback, just as a player who could make plays like that. He saw Jordan in front of him, and Jordan's a lot faster than he is. What a huge play.
Shovel pass usually connotates something a little ugly and awkward, but that was beautiful prescience on Gannon's part.
From the 50, first down.
To these 75,000 fans.
There was a delay of game on the offensive team. It's a 5-yard penalty. It remains first down.
5,280 feet. What do you think, Dennis?
Well, I think the home field advantage a little overrated up here myself.
Give me some of that.
Huh?
Yeah, give me some.
Yeah. I feel like Dennis Hopper in Blue Velvet.
He brings that thing every week.
Here,
you better put that back on your plane.
After the game.
Here, Al, have a little.
Where'd you get that? At the Bellevue Stratford? 1st and 15.
The Legionnaires reference. Beautiful, Al.
.235 remaining.
They're trying to figure out how much time went off the clock when Gannon went through with that play.
Right. I want to say 5 seconds.
Yeah, I'd say at least 5, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I thought it was 2:40 at the snap.
Please set the game clock to 2:41.
2:41, 6 seconds. Okay, so they'll reset it and it'll show 2:41 in a moment.
It's so difficult to play here. You're gassed already. There's just no air. And then with all this noise, for a quarterback to be shouting the cadence at the line of scrimmage, but also in the huddle, he's got to raise his voice.
You know,
very difficult.
You walk up the steps to this press box and you're gassed. I can't imagine 60 hard minutes on the field, what that takes out of you.
It was 10-10 at the half. Denver scored 2 touchdowns, one on the block punt, the other the Chamberlain touchdown reception to go up by 14, and the Crockett score made it 24-17. And that's where we are right now. 1st and 15 from the 45. And Gannon throws in the middle. It is caught by Ricky Dudley, who hurdles his way to the 41-yard line, a little short of the first down. Hurdles over John Mobley.
Beautiful fake pass out to the side, then a little center screen to the tight end.
Yeah, we're seeing a lot of this this year. Watch the athletic ability of Dudley. The former basketball player should have been a hurdler there at the Ohio State University with a move like that.
Like Skeets Nehemiah.
And you saw Gannon signaling to rehuddle, which they did. 2nd and 1 now. Just prior to the 2-minute warning, the ball is given to Zach Crockett, and he takes it to the 34. And the 2-minute warning comes with 1:56 remaining in regulation. The Raiders have 2 timeouts remaining. It's another manic Monday night finish upcoming.
What a field general, Gannon, to get another play in before the warning, huh?
State capital here in Colorado. 1 mile above sea level, exactly 5,280 feet. And that's where the Raiders are trying to come from behind and tie this one up. College football prime time Saturday, but before that, Michigan against Ohio State in the afternoon at noon Eastern time. And then, of course, the big one after those games for regional coverage at 3:30 Eastern time, and then the night action featuring Florida and Florida State.
Boy, the crowd is just jumping up and down above us, and the floor is vibrating.
2 timeouts remaining for Oakland. They have the ball at the 34-yard line. That 7-yard rush by Crockett on the last play, matching the longest run for the Raiders tonight in the absence of Tyrone Wheatley.
Romo's 201 games into a streak. You know, he's not gassed.
At the 34. To the 27-yard line by Tim Brown, and Gannon says come back into the huddle.
Well, you're seeing a team that really believes they're going to get the job done. This drive started on the 14-yard line, and with the help of that 24-yard pass, shovel pass to Jordan, the Raiders are right where they want to be.
2nd and a long 2 from the 27. Gannon rises, can't make the catch on a slant. He'd gotten inside position on Ray Crockett and couldn't handle it. 3rd down and 2 as Rich gunned it in there.
Yeah, we're seeing a couple of rare things tonight. Andre Rison, this is 2 drops for him tonight. We've seen Tim Brown unable to hold a couple of passes. Rich Gannon now has thrown the ball 50 times for 356 yards.
It's the best of times and the worst of times for Andre Rison. Like we said, above 100 for the first time in a long time, but a couple key drops.
Oakland 2 of 12 on 3rd down tonight. 3rd and a long 2. Gannon off his back foot and then overthrows Ricky Dudley. Dudley had broken free, slanting toward the corner. Al Wilson came in and forced Gannon to throw it off his back foot, and it's 4th down.
The defense he wanted had Dudley open in the corner of the end zone, but the pressure by Wilson forced the incomplete.
Comes down to this, and Greg Robinson, the defensive coordinator, said, I have to take a timeout. He wanted to make sure he had the dead right personnel in the game. So Robinson from the sideline calls timeout. Joined us late tonight in this game. It's been a wild one. Early on, after an Oakland turnover, Terrell Davis gave Denver a 7-0 lead. But back came the Raiders to take a 10-7 lead on the Crockett touchdown. Then the key play, the Ian Gold block punt picks it up. The rookie goes in for a touchdown. 17-10. That catch made by Chamberlain made it 24-10, and the Raiders answered that, culminating this drive with a touchdown by Crockett to make it 24-17. And now it is Oakland on 4th down and 2 inside the Denver 27-yard line.
All right, Dano, you're the Hall of Famer. What do you do here? What do you do, my man?
Yeah, I like Rick Gannon on the move, and I like going to my best receiver, Tim Brown.
All right.
Split back set. Brown in motion to the inside. Gannon a tight roll throws. They convert. As Brown makes the catch, moves the chains. 1st down, 23. Saves some time by stepping out with 72 ticks left.
Ain't nothing but a party, Dano. Call, baby.
Yeah, once in a while you get it right. Greg Robinson probably knew it was coming too. He's got to come up with a call now for Denver. Put them in the right defense, because the Raiders have got a hot hand right now.
That gave me goosebumps, man. That was beautiful.
Brown with 9 catches for 100 yards. From the 22. Gannon to the end zone. Wide open is Brown. 10 catches. Wow. And a point away from tying the game.
Well, it wouldn't be Monday night.
82 touchdowns in his career now receiving for Tim Brown, and he beat double coverage that time. Watch right here. Terrell Buckley's got him to the inside, and so does Billy Jenkins. Brown cuts to the outside. Gannon reads it. Touchdown, Oakland. Beautiful play by the quarterback and the receiver.
Buckley fell down, and now Conway, a Raider for only 1 day, to try to tie the game. The rookie Leckler is spotted for it. And he does.
Well, can Brian Greasy be the neutron Elway in this last minute and 6 and get his comeback scheme started?
He's going to have 2 timeouts to work with, but watch Gannon buying time in the pocket, seeing Brown cut to the outside. Look how wide open he is. Terrell Buckley falls down, and again, you got to question the grass up here. Look at Buckley go down. In fact, Buckley misplayed that coverage. He had help to the inside by Jenkins. He's got to stay to the outside and keep Brown sandwiched between the 2 defenders.
Yeah, it was a fait accompli before he fell down, because I think he thought Jenkins might have had outside. They both went in.
And John Gruden watching his team erase another big deficit. Remember earlier this year, on the road, they erased a 3-touchdown deficit against the Colts. Now Conway for a very important kickoff. Delton O'Neal back to receive. Keep in mind, too, the Broncos is one of the very best field goal kickers in the game, and Jason Elam, as they try to work their way into range. Kick fielded at the 10-yard line by O'Neal.
It's got a lane.
And out to the 34-yard line goes O'Neal, where he's tackled by Travian Smith.
I saw a lane, but it was a mirage.
Of course, Elam's got the NFL record, or a piece of it, with a 63-yarder. But he's been hurt a little bit this year. Hasn't been quite the same. His long for the year is 51 yards. So for the Broncos to get in that range, they got to get about 25 yards, maybe 30.
I think if they get like 14 yards, they're at the place where he kicked the 63-yarder from.
From the 33-yard line, 1st down. And they empty the backfield here, go to 5 receivers on 1st down. 2 timeouts for the Broncos. And the pass is caught on a slant by Smith to the 45 of Oakland.
Beautiful.
Quick drops, quick pass, slant, 1st down, 22-yard gain. No huddle. Again, nobody in the backfield, 5 receivers. Greasy stepping up to the 40-yard line. It's Byron Chamberlain, and Mike says we'll take our first time out. They have 1 left. If they don't gain another yard, it would be a 53-yarder. We mentioned before the NFL record is 63 yards. First set by Tom Dempsey of the New Orleans Saints. This one of the most famous field goals ever, obviously. The club foot, the special shoe, And in New Orleans, 3 decades ago, that matched by this against Jacksonville at the end of the half on October 25th 2 years ago. 63-yarder in the thin air for Jason Elam.
Elam had some extra distance on that one, too.
He did.
And it was also kicked during the day, and it was a whole lot warmer.
So it is first down now for the Denver Broncos. Make it one down marker has first down, one has second down. And that's why they are blowing the whistle here, to make sure everybody is in sync. It is second down and 5.
Oakland.
And Oakland takes a timeout. They're going to change that. Second and 5. Well, two coaches with a lot of respect for one another. Here is what Gruden said about Mike Shanahan.
I've had a great experience in my career as a coach to be around some people that I think are profound, guys that are really good, that have helped me. Mike Shanahan's a guy that I've always had great respect for and studied in the offseason and tried to gain some insight into how he coaches and how he calls plays. Just haven't been able to beat him yet, and hopefully tonight's the night.
These two organizations hate each other, but when it comes to the coaches, there's a great deal of mutual respect.
Now, what do you mean by hate, Al?
Well, you know what I mean. Al Davis wanted Pat Bowlen expelled from the league. Bowlen answered with a 2-syllable word, the first syllable of which was bull. Second down and 5 from the 40-yard line. Greasy throws, and that's caught at a flag is thrown by Ed McCaffrey at the 34-yard line. Holds it in. 2 flags come in, covered by Eric Allen.
I think you're going to call Eric Allen for pass interference. That big body of Ed McCaffrey's and that fearlessness of Ed McCaffrey making that tough catch with Eric Allen interfering with him.
Mondo gutsy performance by Greasy tonight, though. Hey, Dano.
Unbelievable.
Defensive pass.
When did he get dinged? It was early,
Number
right?
21. Penalty is declined. First down.
First period, wasn't it?
It was an injury in the first quarter. Remember, he went to the locker room to get it checked out. They said it was a bruise.
Well, this is the night you make the team yours unequivocally.
Ball, great year.
Ball spotted at the 34. It would be a 51 or 52-yard attempt if they don't gain another yard. Greasy throws over the middle. They'll pick up about 9 more here. It is caught by Desmond Clark at the 25. They want to save their timeout, so Greasy's going to come up and spike the ball. Or maybe not, but he will spike it here. Maybe for the moment I thought maybe he'd fake the spike, but they want to save that last timeout to put Elam in position to win the game after one more play.
Yeah, absolutely. One more play, maybe take 6 or 7 seconds off the clock, then kick the ball. Now, it is 3rd down and 1, so they got a decision here to make, whether they're going to go for the first down or go for the touchdown and then line up and kick the field goal on the next play.
Or kick it here, because if you have a muff snap, don't you want another play?
They go with 5 receivers. It's 3rd down and 1 from the 25-yard line. And Greasy's going to run it to a better angle for Elam as he takes it to the 23. Now they take a timeout, or they will as soon as there's only time for the kick, which there is. So right now, here comes Elam to attempt what will be a 40 or 41-yard field goal to win the game.
That was a surgical strike there, that drive. Davis is in the press box right next to us. You can see Al Davis sitting there.
You know, and to cap it all off for Brian Greasy, he's called upon to make a quarterback sneak to get Elam between the hash marks, and he's got a bad shoulder. I would have liked to have seen him call a timeout a little bit quicker, though, in case this is a muff snap.
Well, it's 4th down. It was a 4th down play. Oakland, 3-game lead. Will it be 2? This is a 41-yard attempt. The key figures here are Matt Lepsis, the snapper, Tom Ruin, the holder, and Elam will try to win the game. And the Raiders will call a timeout. Try to freeze Elam, no pun intended, with the temperature down to 11.
Not only are you freezing the kicker, you're talking about the holder and the snapper, Al, as you were mentioning. Ruin with both hands in his pouch there on one knee at the 31-yard line.
Mike Shanahan. Mike Shanahan, 6 years as the head coach here. If Elam kicks this, he would be 11-1 against the Raiders. Broncos, and of course they hold the tiebreaker advantage if they wind up with the same record, because they've just beaten Oakland for the second time this season. 27-24 the final. It's Monday night.
The new economy won't be like the old new economy. The new economy will have new ideas. Ideas like profitability. With powerful e-business solutions, the new economy will be about how well you run your e-business, not just how well you promote it. SAP.
Oh yes, a brilliant move. Galway scampering across the goal to stop it. They just couldn't seem to get enough players forward before. He's showing good fluid movement. To the right, the left. This is another aggressive charge down the flank. He's timed his run to absolute perfection. Two defenders to beat. He's passed one. Is it looking like a chance? Yes, he takes the shot in.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8.
Washington paid big bucks to go all the way. Instead, they're fighting for their lives. St. Louis looked unstoppable, but has been wounded by injuries to Warner and Falk. It's survival of the fittest. Monday Night Football, next week at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific.
Denver wins it at the gun. Let's go to Eric Dickerson.
I'm in Ray Crockett. Ray, great interception and great game. How do you feel about this win?
Man, it was a great win. It was one that we needed, and we knew that down the stretch that these guys were going to be tough. They're not 8-1 for nothing. So when they came back on us, we just kept our paws, and Greasy did a great job. My hat's off to him. The guy could barely move his arm, but he drove us down. We got the field goal. It feels great right now.
It's great to win at home, isn't it?
Oh, man, it feels good to be home. Great to win.
All right, congratulations. Over to you, Melissa.
All right, Eric, Brian Greasy injures his shoulder in the first quarter. How were you able to overcome that and engineer a last-second win?
Well, this is a game that I didn't want to miss, and I ended up separating the AC joint in my shoulder, and they shot it with a needle and numbed it up, and I had to come out, and I had to be in this game.
There is so much history between these two teams. Now they're only losses. 2 losses this season come to you guys. This isn't just like any other win, is it?
No, this was special for us, and we needed this if we wanted any chance of going to the playoffs, and this was a big game for us.
Well, you overcame a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thanks.
Isn't that something? Separated joint in the shoulder. This is the 3rd time in the last 4 Monday night games that the game has ended on the last play of the game. Overtime with the Jets, the Freeman miracle catch last week, and Elam booting this one through to end the game. And the winning point scored at the end of the game for the 3rd consecutive Monday night. NFL.com, you can vote for the Pro Bowl teams, the All-Star teams, as we head to St. Louis for next week's game between the St. Louis Rams and the Washington Redskins. Coming up next on the East Coast, stay tuned for your late local news. ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. The keyword is Monday Night Football. The Oakland Raiders going down to defeat the Denver Broncos are now 6-4, 27-24 the final from the Mile High City. And this has been a presentation of ABC Sports, continuing the tradition of excellence. See you next week from St. Louis.
ABC Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.